Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, we're under new management, so going early is not a problem. Hello to everybody and the people arriving early. I see MB is in the house. Ted, good morning. Smile Be Happy is in the room. Timothy, got a Buckeye in the house. AO Buckeye, um, hometown going on there. So a lot going on today. I'll allow the room to build up a little bit. Give it a few minutes. But we have a good show today. We're going to discuss a professional passport bum in Angeles City. Well, I don't know how much of a passport person he is, but I'm just adding passport in there because he travels and it seems to be what he does. And we're also um, just going to have a full discussion today. So let's talk. Also, if you guys aren't subscribed, be sure to subscribe to Philippine Antics. Be sure to subscribe to our second sister channel, which is more of the expat side of Philippine Antics now and just stuff all in all that we'll be adding over there, some of the family life. And that's on Expat-Tainment Philippines, Expats Entertainment Philippines. What could go wrong on that channel? So also, um, I was just sitting here jamming out this morning. Guys, me and George take the time to add music to YouTube music, which there's no bonus in it. If you guys are looking for a good playlist of the 80s, 90s, and music that we listen to, like we run the playlist as we're getting ready. Well, I did. Of course, this is a day that George is unavailable. And so check out that playlist. There's like over 100 songs, anywhere from the 60s, 70s. It's got everything in there. And so let's see, what else is there? Oh, and membership. That's running slow, guys. We've had over 300 something people look at the video to introduce our membership. And our membership, become a part of the channel. We keep personal contact with these people that sign up. And also, it's got a lot of like videos. So I think we have like 50 plus videos on the Philippine Antics for members. So if this is you guys watching from the other channel, Expat-Tainment, we broadcast simultaneously. So you could always check that out until we get our numbers on the other channel. Then we could always offer a membership over there. So I think I did my thing here. Hey, Hi Chew Mango, already throwing out the stickers. Yeah, I'm saving for more coffee, and that'll go a long way. Good morning, Hi Chew Mango. Thank you for the sticker. That will go towards immigration. Have to file in March, and so that'll be a few hundred US dollars out the door. So all of that helps. So George doesn't have to eat tuna fish for 4 months. Got my Fonz cup going on there. We had that personally made. Hey. I was going to do the old dog mug this morning, but I didn't want to suck on old dog and didn't want to suck on George this morning because George doesn't get double done today. So, hey, shout out to Black Grandpa in the house, Clifford Smallwood. Good morning, Tita Marie. Good morning. So, I think I will jump into it. Yeah. I think we just get right into it. And I'll be today. I think George is extremely busy, so I probably won't even see him for most of the day. He's still sleeping. I'll probably record some, like go back over like the old videos. We have hundreds of expat videos that exist on here. We had done them almost on a daily basis when we first got here. They're still available and they're pretty update, but a lot of things have changed in the last few years, but stayed the same. So I think I'll rehash it as just me doing most of them, and I'll probably place them on the other channel. Plus, I'm still waiting for George to unload the GoPro on the footage where he was downtown Angel City, not Walking Street, but downtown with footage. And he's still got a Ricky video that he's just sitting on it. So it's like trying to get anything out of George is almost an impossible. But let's move on. So let me tell you about this guy. I seen this guy this morning. I was once again going to cover Dexel and this Jim guy or Jimmy Dexel. I don't know if I don't get the name. Is Jim the wife or something, or is that his stepson that he? I don't know why it's called Dexel and Jim. Is she Dexel? I don't know. was like, I don't have the strength. It's like some people, it's like you just don't have the strength. And it does take a few hours to go through their stuff and make sure you have, as much information as possible. And then I was sitting here this morning going through some of the presidential stuff and, with what's been going on in the US and all these things going on. And I came across a gentleman named Jim, and he's from Canada. And basically, he's saying he's been homeless for about a year in Angeles City. And I could always send George as the roaming reporter out there to go find the guy. There's plenty of homeless expats. There's Americans. There's other foreigners. So they're here. They're definitely here, guys. And let's see. I don't know why that's doing that. Guess I should. A and B. Let me get a banner up here. I guess I. I'm. There we go. Sorry, guys. Kind of hard to run this by your. What's up? I'd rather just pay you guys instead of doing membership, where you don't get all of it. That is true also. The membership is reoccurring. And yes, we do have regulars that will just do it that way. So we do. And we do appreciate it. It really does make a big difference. All right. So let me tell you a little bit more about him. Yeah, this is alive, guys. The guy is 62 years old. The guy is 62 years old. I call him a professional bum because he said he has been to 86 different countries. But he said that it's better to live in a country such as the Philippines where it's inexpensive. As I'm to understand, he doesn't have like any retirement, no plans, no nothing. And the entire video, the guy was like making excuses, didn't take any responsibilities, complained about his health, like something about a bad hip, some bad health. He looked healthy. He looked to be probably at least 200 pounds. So he didn't seem like super skinny or scrawny or anything. And he was going on talking about like the reflection of the homeless in Canada. They look down on you and the news this and they portray us as that. And I just hearing wah, 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 wah. That's all I'm hearing, right? And so just calling him out on what it actually is. So he has no kids, no family, no real family, nobody he says he stays connected to, and no reason to return to Canada. Why should he? So let's just stay and be a burden already on a burdened country such as the Philippines. I should have titled this Poor and Blend In because that's basically what he's trying to do. Is that in Canada, when you basically what I heard him saying, is that, with people having money in Canada, which not all of them are, but for the most part, you are frowned upon if you're living on the streets. And maybe he's embarrassed. Maybe he figures he comes here and he's got a leg up or something to live, on the streets here. But it's also embarrassing for the Filipinos that have to keep taking care of these guys one after another here. Filipinos come and approach these guys and give them food, and they've got their hands out and they're asking for coins. Quite a few guys, especially post-pandemic. And so, stereotype. Okay, so I'm going to play the small clip that I have of this guy and go ahead and make your comments. Again, this is a discussion. I take homelessness being serious. I've been homeless twice. Once was with my kids after a divorce. And not much by choice, and we all have our issues, and I've been there, done that and everything, but I don't know about moving to another country on top of that because he knew that when he got here. So and then I'll go through the reasons, and we'll go through like this as a discussion, go through like Q&A and onwards on this one. So this guy's a trip.
I have kids.
And you don't have like family back in Canada who can help you out?
Oh no, I got some distant relatives, but I'm not even in contact with them anymore. So
you don't want to go back to Canada?
Now, I want to let you guys know, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'll probably hear about this later. You'll hear him a little bit more ask the questions, and this is sped up. This sounds like Andy Omar to me. I mean, I knew Andy Omar. For those that know Andy, dropped off the scene a little bit back. And the more I kept listening, it's a brand new account, less than 300 subscribers for this person that put this video out. And he does this type of videos, or he does trans or lady boys. The interviews are all kind of odd that he actually does. But the more I listened, I'm like, that almost sounds like Andy Omar. So, and what made me think it was Andy, because I know people like, where in the world is Andy, that, where in the world is he situation, because he does an interview also with an orphanage that Andy Omar was tied to at one point. And so it's just kind of odd for me, but it does a little bit.
Well, certainly not when it's cold, and certainly not when there's danger of nuclear war. And I mean, certainly not when I'm not going to be able to get a job there. I mean, there's nothing really to go there for, I mean,
What is the...
and certainly not where, if I go there and I'm poor because I don't have a job, I'm going to be stigmatized and vilified and made to look evil in the eyes of the general public, which is the case, that's the case in Canada. If you're poor, if you're homeless in Canada, you're stigmatized as being evil, That's the way they stigmatize you. That's the way they stereotype, because those stories sell. They know that they can tell a story if they say, oh, these people are just, they're just garbage. People are just garbage, they're evil, they put themselves there, they're garbage, they deserve to die, They put that story out, people think, oh, yes, I love that story, yes, and they buy the newspaper, That's the way it is. That's the way it works.
What's the hardest thing about being homeless?
A little bit like
Being homeless.
Not having a home.
It's pretty hard.
Not having
pretty
like
hard.
stability.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, it's hard. Yeah.
pretty hard being homeless. So I gave you a little bit of the clip there so you guys could see the guy. And basically, the rest of the interview just goes on about same thing, being vilified, being made to look evil, that it's better to live in the Philippines. He's been to X amount of countries, and he just kept repeating that it's just bad for them in Canada. Yeah, it's actually cold. I get that part of it and everything. And so he looked pretty healthy to me for being on the street for a year and supposedly having nowhere to live. I mean, he was totally clean. He doesn't like he's lost any weight, because if you're on the street like that and barely eating and you have no money or whatever, you'd be a lot skinnier. And of course, there are some out there that are skin and bones, but this guy looks awful healthy. So there are several reasons that these expats end up homeless, whether it's from America, Canada, or whatever country. And for him, it looks like it could have been a choice. He didn't get here and it happened. He came here with the intent. So, which is even crazier. So some of the possibilities is hospital bills, medical bills send these guys way off balance on their money. It's the first thing it hits, and then they end up this way. Girlfriends or boyfriends, it could be either way, and they're either scammed or they just run out of money. Something went south in their relationship, bad relationship, or they could have done something and got kicked out. So we can't just blame it on the Filipino, but it's usually a breakup of some sort. And then the other ones is literally people have been robbed here like they would anywhere in the world. I mean, they could went to any country and had passport taken, money, laptop, been in a hotel, and then something like this happened. And then when they end up with nothing, then they end up on the street because they didn't make any plans, have no other way. They only brought X amount of money. And so it happens. Homelessness does happen everywhere. So it's some of the reasons. And I think a lot of these expats could have planned a little bit better, but it's unexpected, like a lot of people that are homeless in the United States. So it's where it is at on net, and go back through there again, say hey to MB, smile, be happy again. Good morning, Ted. Adam Za is in the house, and thank you again, Haichu Mango. Finally, a fellow countryman down and out in Angel City. Yeah, I mean, it's the guy chose to do it. That's the crazy part. Is he actually chose, and according to his story, that he didn't come here and something happened. It was just better than being in Canada. And I think about it, and I've told people, like, since I've been here, like those that are making plans to come here. Like I'm on Social Security disability and I only had so much X amount of money in the bank. I had a plan, and it's like, but my money will go further in the Philippine situation. And, after me and George got married and we started thinking, and then the pandemic came, I said, no, our money will go a lot further there. So I was like, let's take that money instead of it dwindling and go to the Philippines and start early. And that was our plan. But at least we had multiple streams of income at that time. It just wasn't the Social Security. But then I think about these homeless elder women and men. I was talking about this the other day, that it'd be better if they would take their savings and come over here. But then I start thinking about the balance of the problems I've been having if I didn't have George or like neighbors or somebody to help me with these things. Catastrophe can hit, and it can hit really hard. And I'm a pretty strong woman. I mean, I'm really, really tough. But there are some days it's just, one problem after one problem after one problem. And so, but I have to balance out where this woman was eating potatoes. The one that was homeless that I talked about, she was eating potatoes in her house. She was scrapping. I mean, she was like, well, I bought this like $3-4 bag of potatoes, and she just made potatoes for dinner. Like she sliced up some potatoes and ate it. And that's the type of retirement I didn't want to look at. There are people that had 401ks and they planned and all that, and they still end up in a really bad situation when they go to retire. And I'm thinking, would it be better for this woman to come to the Philippines? And a lot of people choose to come to an Asian country or another country to get, better value for their retirement and pensions and stuff. So, hey, Black Grandpa. Clifford, Katie Marie, and thank you so much. What's up? What's up? Hey, Montel. We've had those for a little bit. We've had them. We've been doing live streams for a couple years, and we got the toast a while back. It was kind of a thing. The posters went up, what, guys, probably about a year ago. And we were going to put more of them up, but these are like both me and George, for those that don't know, one of our pastimes and favorite things was always going to the movies. And when we were both in our younger years, I don't know, under 30, we both worked at a movie theater. And so George had done management there, and I just happened to I worked 2 part-time jobs right outside of high school, and one of them was a movie theater. So these are some of our favorite movies. And so we could watch these probably a million times over plus more. So we had the wall, wall. We were going to put more. We had at first some smaller ones, and these worked out pretty good. But yes, the toast. And then I added, of course, for the live stream when it's just me, then I've added in my Luby Lube over there that we got in the mall the other day. So it's sweet and everything. So. Splendid. I don't know this right here because that's not a sticker. It didn't come up as a sticker. So I guess you were just saying something about the other person, but there are a lot of bums in Canada. I guess they take their chances in the field now, which, when I was homeless myself, once was in Ohio, and that's when the kids were little. I went into a shelter, but the shelter was pretty bad. And it was like a day shelter. You stayed at night in a church. And actually, I was pregnant. I had one kid with me. So basically, Cody, I guess, was about ready to be born. And one of the kids bit my daughter in the shelter, and I got a little nervous like that. And I ended up going back to Florida. That was like originally where I'd been living and everything. And at that point, I probably would have considered somewhere if I'd have had, it's hard to get jobs here in the Philippines. So you really either have to have something really going online, or you have to have some sort of retirement and something. And if I had if the internet would have been back then I'm sure I would have had a job online because I'm pretty resourceful. And then, yeah, living in another country would have been a good thing. But as a, outright just homeless person leaving them, it's, I guess it's better than freezing. At one point, that's what he said. He said it was better than it being cold. So, Quebec has ceased Amazon. Was it maybe jobs or something? Hey, Bear in the Philippines, good morning. Hey, Bobby G, good morning. Heidi, blessed day as always. Yet to be determined. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was like thinking of different things, like different topics and stuff. So let me know, guys, if there's a topic that you really, really want covered as me, for the other channel, because I'm going to drop a bunch of them on there. I'll be recording 2 or 3 of them today. So, means George hasn't emptied himself, emptied his GoPro. So, uh, I got a fan on in here. Now my hair is blowing in my face, so it's kind of irritating. That's why I keep doing that. Every 5 minutes, it feels like bugs on my face. Is the hair. I'm convinced that half the expats in the Philippines are homeless. Could be. And you've probably seen a lot of them here. More and more are. Yes, and it's really, there's already a lot of problems here already. Victim mentality. Yeah, he does. I was thinking about that guy the other day, and as soon as I got off the air, me and George was talking about the gentleman that was on Gio's channel and how, he was going on about what happened, this, that. Me and George got onto it on air, which is what we do. It's just kind of like we were going back and forth. And I said, that punk needs to own up to what happened. I mean, the guy was taking no responsibility whatsoever for, what was going on with him allowing 12 family members to move to the next place. That's where George said the guy went wrong. He goes, the first time round and everybody showed up, he said, okay. But when he got 2 other places or the next place, I thought he said he went to 2 other places. And then the family moved in and there was all those kids. There had to be a sign, like his eyes must have been closed to the fact she had to be holding, you know what? She had to be holding the kid. Probably when his back was turned, she was probably breastfeeding while you bull crapping or something. You turn around, that baby's like, oh, it's normal. We feed each other's kids like the emperors did back in the old days. It's just no big deal. It's just my cousin. I don't mind sharing my milk. I mean, and so it's just like he had to see a sign. He really had to see some sort of sign going on. And but no responsibility. He was just in there just whining about her and, oh, this isn't about her. This is for you guys to learn the lesson and all that. No, he wanted it to be known. But yeah, it's like, rule number 1, just admit what happened and do what you got to do and stuff. So they don't, not usually. So he's illegal in the Philippines. Who pays the extension at the BI? I'm sure they question him and what he's doing. For some odd reason, they don't. There's several of them here. They stay in the same place day in and day out, and they don't do anything. They just don't bother with them. But if I was to miss an extension, it wouldn't take them long at all. But they've also got my address, but you would think that they would do something. But there's a lot of them in the United States and, of course, other countries. I have to mention this that they don't get them off the streets. So but you would think here, they would, maybe he's paying them a little something, something, once they come around, whatever money he's been collecting for the day, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. You think so? Yeah, of course, the overstays don't pay the extension. He does. Yeah, he looks like from yeah, or the Beverly Hillbillies just with the hat and everything. Yeah. He looks like a comic book character. Yeah, maybe was it Huck Finn or something. He looked like part of the Huck Finn, Angel City Huck Finn bin. By the way, for those that don't know, I did a live just randomly yesterday when I was doing stuff online, and we did play the song. We did create that song. I bet that kitty was loose, but I'm gonna make a video before I drop it again So we did, and George sat down with me. It's not too often I get him to join in to like write lyrics and choose the type of sound and instruments we want into the song, but it turned out really good. So those people got a chance to hear it yesterday on the other channel. So it was pretty cool. But I bet that kitty was loose, like a hot dog in a hallway loose. Uh, Interesting. Probably could tell with the voice analyzer. It did sound like Andy. No, even without, I don't even think there's I just don't think it's sped up for one thing, but I give it about a 70% sound like Andy, but I hate to say it that the voice is also generic for him. And it's been a while, so he could have done something to alter it. Who knows? I don't think so. I think Andy right now is out and down for the count. I don't, who knows if he's even still in the Philippines. So I know other channels. I've seen it in their titles of their live streams, like "Where's Andy" and all that, but I don't. It just comes up in the feed, not that I watch. So I know people have been talking, but I'm just saying the channels got like 200 something subscribers, and he could just be bored. Who knows? The interviews do seem like him. I'm from Canada. The guy is choosing to be homeless. Plenty of opportunity for housing and employment and social safety nets. He is choosing to remain homeless. There is, but doesn't that still have requirements? I mean, will they give him a full check with him? He's saying he's disabled. He said he's got like bad hips and he can't work and all that. And what did he say he was? 62. But wouldn't there be some form of a pension in Canada if he was working prior? But he sounds like he's been going everywhere, 86 different countries. So, yeah. Like I said, good morning. He didn't sound Canadian to me. The only thing that he said once is I think he had said he said one British term, and I can't remember it offhand during the interview. But he did say something British like, so it's the only thing that gave me the ideal that he may not like the housing and the employment he would be made to take again. Yeah, he has a choice. There's no doubt. And he seemed happy. And his only complaint was about the end of the world and stuff and nuclear war and something. And so when he asked, it was some of his responses were really, really off. So, well, I bet it's a lot more appealing to be homeless in a tropical place with kind people than a place where it's freezing and people are not so kind, and sad how to make us look in general. Makes sense. It does, Bobby. And, but he could have like owned it instead of blaming it on the news, making him look like a villain. He could have just said that, but it's hard. It's hard to articulate sometimes when there's a lot going on your mind, and he was being thrown random questions, kind of like in the live streams you get all jumbled up and stuff. But yeah, I mean, he could have just said it was a try. And actually during that interview he did mention that it was better to be somewhere, but a lot of it was a strange interview. He really pretty much said nothing. I wrote down all the key notes here this morning when I watched it. So lots of bummy homeless expats in Cebu. I know one. He has always felt entitled. There are some, and there are some that continue to collect money on the streets. They said there's some professional ones here. Like they do it, collect it, and got their own place and everything. What's wrong? Can you guys hear that? Okay, she stopped. There she is. It almost sounds like a guinea pig. You probably can't hear that with the noise cancellation. The puppy has like little nightmares or dreams. Maybe like she's chasing because she chases her toys around the house. Maybe she's dreaming she's playing a little guinea pig. Uh, yes, Heidi, but who cares? Every penny they own to life is in their pockets. So saying I got robbed is mostly a lie, an excuse to foster pity from others. Yeah, there was that one that regular guy had. I don't know. I get like mixed up on time frames. Sometime within the last year, he did that interview after talking with the guy. That's what he said. But somebody said, "Man, he's been running that train on people for years about I lost my passport and that this, and that happened." And so so technically the reasons, where, everything's been taken, but usually they leave, as soon as they can, or they can get money transferred. So they must have been in bad shape to begin with if they couldn't get up out of that and became homeless because of that situation. So yeah. An entitled bum. Yeah. Canada is like any other country. If you're willing to work for what you want, you can have anything. But if you're lazy with no ambition, then you're going to end up like this hillbilly. And that's what I was actually thinking, is that this guy had really actually went on about that. How he was sick, and how, yeah, it exactly sounded like that during the interview. Is what's going on. He had no ambition whatsoever. You have to get up on the right side of the bed, literally right side of the bed, to get going. It's easy to fall into depression these days and sit around just watch the internet and all the bad things going on. And once you start watching one article, they feed you all of it. So if you sit there and watch those videos where the animals falling apart, they'll feed you them all. And then next thing you know, I was like 20 minutes in watching these animals that were all ripped up and stuck in tar. And I'm like, what the heck? And then I was like, wait a minute, I got to get up and go do something. So, um, but yeah, you have to, you have to work for what you want. So most definitely. BI needs to round up these homeless expat bums and deport them back to their country of origin. They are a burden to Philippine citizens and Philippine government. Yeah, I would agree. And a lot of Filipinos, they try to help, and then there's a limit. Like several of them have been out here for years, and somebody said, what should I do, and whatever. The same guy has made the same rounds, where he sits in front of Dow Gold, and people. He ends up on Facebook, and a bunch of people ask for money or people to go help them, and they're like, "Why do you help them?" And they, kind of have it out with the Filipina, like, that guy's been there forever, and but it just seems to be a vicious circle. But you would think so, because like I said, if it happened to me, they would come get me. I promise you that. And especially with me being in social media, the moment people think that it's faltered and they don't like what I say and everything, they'll try to turn me in. Had 1,000 threats since I've been here, and it's like, dude, I'm legal, right? But I would go down. But a person, I don't know why. I'd rather be homeless in Los Angeles. I could sleep out of my SUV. Plus, they have soup kitchens and nice beaches, which is true. Because in a case like that, I wonder about that, because there is no real help here, and so um, there is just none. It's there. You might get where a barangay captain might help you, or like that one guy, Ken. The family actually took him into the house, and they took care of him for years while he had no money. But I guess at one point he did have some money, and the people were taking advantage of. Some other couple had an issue, and it's sad. But no, at least there is some help there. Yes. I think that's why people go from, say, like cold areas in the United States, and they go to places like Arizona and Florida. But it even gets cold in Florida. I talked to my daughter this morning, and she said that it was like 40 degrees. And I was like, we were discussing the snow and everything that's up in Pensacola. And I said, well, the year you were born in '89, I said you were about 7, 8 months old. And I said it snowed. There was actually like some snow in the air, and we had frost on the ground. And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, I know it's happened a few times, but with her lupus, she's freezing it out and everything." So yeah, he only said one British thing. He might have actually, lied about where he was from. Hey, good morning. Hey, Bisayang kanyo. Kano. I used to be a projectionist back during colleges. Colleges. To usually project on people. Good morning. I found myself watching. What is that show? Watch one of those British royalty shows, and I every it was hard to not stop saying things with an accent. And the longer I'm here, and I hang out with like Filipinos and get a lot of British and Australian people around here, I start picking up on everything, and my brain isn't working half the time. Good morning, Kate Dallas. This guy seems like wherever he goes, he fails. In the Philippines, I'd his last stop was like his last stop. Yeah, 86 countries, and he talked about other countries and um, different places he had been to. You could be an English teacher. Here's the thing: you could, or whatever, but maybe 10 years ago, people don't realize all these online jobs are just faltering. And now with AI and coming through, they're talking about like this year they're going to cancel out 10 million jobs here in the Philippines. Everything call center is going to close. And but back to the English teacher thing. Yeah, say 4 or 5 years ago, when we entered 4 years ago, you'd have had a decent chance of keeping up a good online job as far as teaching and some quick money. But now there are so many of them. And then locally it'd be even harder. The foreigners have arrived, and it's a lot harder. An elf on a shelf. I should have had Snoop on a stoop, is what I should have. Ah, diabolical. Being homeless in a third world country is diabolical. He needs to go. Hey, maybe we ought to put George out on the street let him go out and see what it's like to stay on the streets of Angel City. We'll have George do a night out on the streets. They had another vlogger that did that. He swapped houses. We talked about that wife swap and the home swap thing. Why not create a YouTube channel if you have no job or teach English? That's what Geo did, and now with views and subscribers Geo has, live he could live off that YouTube money. See, here's the thing. Um, I'm not believing with his numbers he's making. It's probably enough to live here in the Philippines, but maybe not back in the States. But I think he's still doing something on the side. So and he could be. He could be getting a bunch of other side money and everything, but you could. But the guy would have to need to have like the people that are that far down would have to have some sort of, get up and go. And I thought regular guy was the number one Canadian bum in the Philippines. Nah, there's there's quite a few that live here, Canadians. I don't know about bums, but yeah, just the one that you see on YouTube. Tony got to hear that song. I bet that kitty was loose. I'll get that song, do a surprising video for that. We'll roll that when George comes through on Tuesday, because we'll do the wrap up Saturday, which is in about 48 hours. It'll be me again. And when he comes back uh, on the live, then I bet that kitty was loose. Between the U.S., Canada, Britain, New Zealand, there is a full on bum invasion in the Philippines. Yeah. Did this guy ever marry a Filipino or have? No, he didn't come here for a relationship. He just came here to stay. So, and he has no kids, has nobody. He's a he's just a professional. So the reason I called it a professional passport bum was just because he has traveled a lot of places. So I didn't mean that as in I didn't say passport brother. He's just passport bum. It's just what he's done. And I think he's lived off a little to no money. I don't know. He didn't even say, the person never even asked in the interview about where he makes his money. All he mostly did was complain about the Canadian government and complain about his health issues, and didn't say, he just said he won't live there because basically, in a nutshell, they look down on him. It's like, you don't think they don't do that here, but he's just like, everybody's nice here. And I would agree. They're just thinking other things behind your back. So, yeah. So I don't know if I put that up there. Yes, I think because the street officers don't really like talking to the foreigners. I've been stopped many times to check at checkpoints, and they walk up soon. Rolled down. They walk or wave me through. Yeah, I maybe that could be what it is they just don't want to. Yeah, maybe they just feel it's not their problem as the street police to check. So I guess it would take somebody really with immigration to say, hey, and I know they've been pointed out, there's got to be Filipinos that don't want them to be there either. Rest in peace, the king of foreign bums in the Philippines, Mark Thornton. Well, at least he had something coming in, and at least, he had done other things. Like at least he was doing YouTube. At least he went and did interviews. And hey, this guy is just the we can't call him Beverly Hillbilly either. So is passport burn a metaphor, bum a metaphor, or did he actually burn? Did I actually? It's bum. It does say bum. I just had to double check to make sure. Bum. Or did he actually burn his passport? Yeah, it's bum, sir. It does say right there, bum. I had to look though. No, he just seemed to travel to avoid high cost and being looked down on. He talked about going to other places. Her kitty was loose. He stuck her in a caboose. She sounded like a moose. Then her head hurt the roof. Yeah. Heidi, lots of guys get scammed by Filipinas and led astray because of desperation. They accept it like the guys with women with 6 kids. Yeah, she cheated on him while they were chatting. Baby is 6 months old. Yeah, and that would be my guess. Is there was either a husband, one of the people in the house were probably her boyfriend, and she had to be most Filipinas breastfeed. That's even the crazier part. She was breastfeeding that baby at some point, or that's another thing. He didn't. I mean, he didn't. Oh God, I think some of the signs were there. I just think he was really caught up. There's a homeless British guy that Asia now guy found in Cebu. Big sad story, robbed, etc. YouTuber set him up with a job. 6 months later, homeless guy is outside my girl's school where she worked. Yeah. There's a few of them. There's quite a few expats that have, YouTubers that have covered these guys. And here's the thing, if they don't have a plan, then it's a problem. And we've heard a lot of emails and messages on Messenger about that guy. That's the how old is the guy? And almost 80 something. The one that was here processing the photos for the Philippine history and everything. And the guy knew a year ago things were going south, and a lot of people didn't feel sorry for him. You get a lot of Filipinos that are feeling sorry, and they're like, oh, well, he's taking care and archiving our photos. He's placing them on the internet himself. He's got a bunch of them. I don't even think he physically has the photos. I don't know. But it just appears that he's taking them and placing them on the internet. And they're like, oh, he's been doing this and that for years. And but they're also, the other expats and Filipinos are wondering why he waited this whole year. He knew his money was running out last year. And he said, last year, I got 4 months before my money runs out. So I got to get this and that done. And he was always making the announcement about it. So he knew, and it was like he was waiting for somebody to fix that problem. His wife has health problems, but he could see that he was going to come into problems. When I get back in the Philippines, I will go and interview him. If you can't survive in US or Canada, you can't survive anywhere. Arctic cold front. Yeah. Canada doesn't want back these useless bums. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Homeless in Los Angeles is a whole new term. The fire, yeah, on a mass scale now. Yeah, because it's going to take years to build. And then if they do go and find a home, they got to come up with the money. A lot of regular people that didn't have money. And even if you own the home or was renting the home, now that the rents have gone up, they're going to go into something where the rents are going to be really extensively high. And then you have your everyday people that were just living there. And that's really, and then talk about the people that were already, having issues. That's really, yeah, that's crazy. Mass. Hey, Ruby, good morning. The Filipino bee, what happened to warm climate change? Yeah, it went kind of cold. Good morning, Lynn. How are you? Next time I'm gonna have to adjust this fan. It's just really weird. I've been sitting here for like 2 hours before the live stream. Not once did I touch my face. Every time I get on here, it feels like cat hair, and I don't, even the fan's been on me, and I didn't once touch my face, and now I feel like I'm in a full allergy attack right now. Um, Filipinas do the English teaching job for $4 an hour. Yeah, any online jobs here are, you know, George had looked at some initial stuff after we were here for a few years and he was already doing stuff. And I'm like, well, if we want to make a little extra money, you can do this or do that. And we checked into a barrage of things and they don't pay for nothing because once you're locked into the Philippines, VPN or not, they just don't want to pay anything. You could work as an online assistant for a company and really be like locked down to a bunch of things that you have to do, like an itinerary that they put to you like an assistant, and you're still only going to make about $20 a day, and it stinks. And I'm like, no way, I'm working 8-9 hours a day. Just in general, I'm saying, no way would I do that. But for Filipinas that may be making 600-700 a day, doing this and that, yeah, 1,000 sounds good at that point. So that's why a lot of them go into vlogging, and it makes sense. But yes, the teachers don't get paid anything here. So hey, what's going on? Canadian Philippines adventure. This guy is an embarrassment saying from Canada, I'm so much BS. I don't believe he never heard that accent before. All the best to him in life, but please don't be a burden to the Philippines. Yeah, and that's the crazy part is, but see, to me, he doesn't even look like that. This is a channel that's only got 250 subscribers. That's putting this guy on. Everything looked clean because I seen, like, I cropped it and everything, so I seen more of his clothes and everything. To me, he doesn't. Uh, you know, he doesn't like represent that other guy that walks around like there's another guy that goes all over walking street that got like bad legs and super skinny and dirty tattered clothes. Not this guy. He looked super clean to me, the cleanest bum that I've seen out there. Also, he's not exactly small, so you start to lose weight when you don't have access to food all the time and you're sweating out there. So he's not even in front of a fan. This guy looks like he's living somewhere, so it's could have just all been, just a setup. That's the first time I had seen this guy, but I'm not all over the area either. When the call centers close, there will be way more scammers and people will do more desperate things for money. Yeah, the regular guy says he's living off his YouTube and that is why he's not in Korea anymore. Yeah, it's expensive in Korea. No, the jobs are tightening up and a lot of people are doing online stuff, and what you find now, like the last few years, it's more and more scams online, even for the work itself, and it's paying little to nothing. Why? Because nobody wants to work. I'd say that is just the truth. Nobody wants to really like do the 9 to 5 jobs anymore. A bunch of them are disappearing, and they're especially they're wanting to do something internet wise, social media wise. Like we had that room full of girls karaokeing that we had when we lived at the other place, and every last one of them put their hand up when they said they were, was going to do social media for a living. And so it's just where they are. And yeah, them call centers are going to close. AI is going to take over a lot of things. And then, yeah, Dumagetti's all sunny over there. There you go. We'll send Ricky undercover as a homeless Filipino following the expats around for the whole day with a spy cam. I've been thinking about getting a few of them. We've had them in our cart for like Lazada. I feel shady doing it, but I don't mind being shady a little bit. But yeah, maybe he can put on like a spy cam or something. We could send him out. He's got a video. He will not upload it. I'm gonna have to just go get the camera. But he has one where he did go out in his outfit again recently. Then we'll put on here for sure. Any of the characters we'll keep on this channel for sure. Um, but yeah, that would be funny. Being a Canadian married to a Filipina for 19 years and living in the Philippines for 15, regular guy is a disgrace for all Canadians. There's a lot of people here that are a disgrace. It's just where it is. It's just where it is. I still find him to be the innocent one. You've been here. You should know there's guys way worse than him. So that's where I was at on the regular guy thing. He's, so he propositioned somebody, and so they say there was a person that was 17 or 18, and the family knew. I'm like, dude, it's dark here. It's really dark. He was just in the shade. I don't understand why these people move their entire there to retire and then end up working twice as hard than when they stayed in their country. Tony, you talking about like when they start doing YouTube and they're out there vlogging, or they take on extra jobs? Or I think the ones that is crazy is like that one guy with that one channel. I never remembered the channel's name. The one that now opened up the restaurant, and now he's talking about getting a chocolate farm or whatever type of farm he talked about getting, that he's going to grow his own vegetables because things are out of stock all the time. That Philippine life, the one that was married to Bianca and everything. I watched part of that video, and he said the reason was he was opening a farm. So he's already running a restaurant that takes his entire day. Plus he's vlogging, which takes time. I believe he's doing his own editing too. So that enough is time consuming. And then he's doing a restaurant, which still requires management. Plus he's, playing stepdad, which he's not married to that I'm aware of, to the new daughter. So he's got a little family he's doing now. And then you have where he's talking about buying farmland so he can actually, which he can't, by the way. He says he'll tell you how he's going to do it. If he's got anything under the corporation or whatever, it could be they're going to buy the land up, and that's how he's going to be able to technically own it, is through a corporation, real estate or whatever. So it can be done in another manner. But he's going to buy this so he can grow his own vegetables. You realize how long that's going to take, man? And so he's going to do all of this because he's tired of being out of this, and that. He also admitted the cost is killing him. So sure, yeah, you can't do all those, items that you have on the menu and, be able to keep up with the stock, and the price is just, it's crazy. But yeah, if it's any of those, I get it too. But they come here, they start resorts, and I've seen people that come here and they get the ideal to do like a cab company or sorry stores, along with little restaurants on the side, and they're working full time. And it's like, dude, I thought you did, a channel where you spend X amount of hours doing it. And like for me, it's a hobby and it's not consuming my entire day. That's a little different. But some of them come here to work like really, really, I don't get it either. Most Filipino street officers do not want to struggle and speak English with the foreigners. Filipinos call it nosebleed. Yeah. I would agree. A lot of them just avoid not most, a good percentage avoid talking to me. And when I first got here, I was a little offended because I had not mixed with the culture, especially when there was the lockdown. George went out and about, and with me being elder and with me being with an autoimmune issue, I rarely went out during the pandemic. And so at that point when I started interacting with Filipinos, I told George, I said, they're just staring at me like you do sometimes. I get that. And I'm like, George, that's you. I said, these guys just being inconsiderate. Like when I call you inconsiderate, he said, no, they're just listening to you or they're not catching all your English. And it's like, but then you don't get a response out of them and this and that. So yes, it could be their shyness. Like I couldn't get people to come to the counters to buy stuff. Like if I wanted to buy something at the bakery or buy an item out at the pharmacy or something, I was just standing there or something, even when I called him. And it's like, he goes, I think they don't want to speak English. And I'm like, well, can you speak Tagalog? I mean, it's like I had to spell it out to both sides. I'm like, well, George, you're sitting there speaking English. Can you speak Tagalog to him? So, because he's speaking full English. I said, babe, I could have done that. I said, I don't think they're understanding the English part of it. But yes, I think it's the nosebleed thing and the communication thing. And that's why we say that English is good here, but how good is English? So, and again, guys, throw me those topics you want me to cover today. So I'm going to, why I have this on today, I'll sit down and do like answering out or doing some information on expat. And then I'm going to turn him over to Expat-Tainment channel where we're starting to release some of the expat help videos. How can you tell who is a bum in a third world slum? Hey, there you go. Where nobody has a legitimate job. They do. There are. I just seen some guy in Cebu that did an entire subdivision. These houses were astronomically priced. Rentals, selling them, everything. And I'm like, what jobs do these people have? Because there were a ton of them. I probably say it looked to be hundreds of houses. And I'm like, I can't afford that. And it's like, and our income is over 100,000 or more. And that's not even a big check. That's not even a big amount. Being able to spend at least that kind of money, besides what's in savings, it's what's allocated. And we still couldn't live in a place like that. And, but yeah, legitimate job. It could be. Could be. John, I don't know where you've been. So I repeat it one more time, being you're curious and we haven't seen you in a little bit. I thought you asked that the last time, no. And it's been going on. George will appear probably once or twice a week. George has been working for a while, and I've mentioned that throughout here. Yeah, because you asked about 10 minutes ago. And he also does a gaming channel, which will not ever be revealed. And he was pushing himself, being he has different hours. He also spends time with his uncle and his family. He has full family here, and he has other things. So instead of slowing down on the channel, then I am going ahead and doing the live streams. So it was actually just a matter of time. We talked about a year and a half ago actually taking a break, and there's no reason. So working and sleeping. So yeah. So where's G? So I guess I moved on and didn't put it up there. So yeah. So working. Yes, correct. It's funny though, cause they come at you with intent in their eyes, and then they see you and wave me off. My wife always laughs. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's kind of it's a good thing and bad thing. I don't there's been times I don't get service or approached at all. I know they staring at me, I'm big, tall, and white and fluffy, and I don't know. I was like, are they intimidated because of any part of who I am? Are they afraid? And George says, no, they're not. He says, I think it's the English part of it, and not many of them interact with foreigners because um we live in Mabalacat. We go throughout Angel City and 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 it's not even on the outskirts. It's anywhere. Any place that we've gone. The English is not as prominent, and I just think they're kind of embarrassed like I am to speak my Tagalog. I just don't do it. So you know, yeah. The guys need to look in the mirror. The guy has a lot of courage showing his face and sharing his story being scammed by a Filipina and 6 kids. Yeah, totally embarrassing. This guy needs to take a look in the mirror and get a reality check. If you'd have heard my cuss words, like I said, I hope they make a real free speech on YouTube and AdSense and all that, because I'd be saying a lot more stuff right now. Trust and believe me. And you can't even do it. Here's the thing: I can't even talk like that through like other sources either without getting in trouble. So no, I've got a few choice words for the guy, and basically it was like he needs to take some like real responsibility. It's one thing of you not saying, "Hey, I did it," blah 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 blah, and nope, wasn't me. No, it wasn't me. If you've already, you know, he needed to take responsibility. There had to be some signs, and I'm just calling all that out. If people really, especially in this day and age, people are playing sleuth and detective, and all the information is out there, and it's out in the open, and people, it's like people have the time now, and they're just sitting around thinking, "Yeah, poor guy." But you don't want to be blind like that either. Yeah, poor guy. But then I'm thinking, Christ's sake, the baby was like 6 months old. There had to be a sign. Was she like changing diapers? Was other family members taking care of this baby and the other kids, and she never like was? I don't know. There had to be something showing she was the mother. Maybe that he just passed it off to just being a nice cousin, or always hugging on the same kids all the time or holding them. There had to be something. Or I bet that kitty was loose. Yeah. Oh man, I was gonna play that song. I bet that kitty was loose. Governor Governor Newsom is going to invite all the homeless billionaires to the French Laundry restaurant to cheer them up and ask for campaign donations. You know, bravo to what's going on with Trump and Elon Musk and all the business transactions that are going on and how they line things up. Now, I do want to say this in advance without being thrown under the bus. I'll probably still be thrown under the bus. Um, Stargate, real quick, just to stir you guys up. Stargate. Let's talk about Stargate for a minute. First off, did nobody else finds that a little freaky based on the Stargate thing? The movie and everything. So they're going to call it Stargate. And Elon Musk is the one that owns that part of the AI situation. And like all of this is coming full circle of all these business deals. But did you hear what they said? They said they'll be scouting for land. That was announced like yesterday or something. They'll be scouting for land to start these centers and stuff for setting all this stuff up. And what is it? $500 billion and all this money going. We'll be scouting for land. Does anybody want to guess where that land will be? He says that they'll make a decision what areas they want it and all that. It's like, ooh, Mr. Carter, Mr. Carter. I know where there's going to be some land coming up here real quick. North Carolina, and it'll be coming up in Hawaii and California. Oh boy, Mr. Carter. Oh no. Welcome back. I don't know. I see a lot of good things happening, and then I just see a bunch of rich people getting rich. We figured that would all happen, be some good things in between, but for Christ's sake, raise Social Security. Yeah, it's going to help me, but more so, okay, I mean, who doesn't want some money? But more so for the people that are up there in age, where their checks are just ridiculous and they're living in the United States. That's crazy. So hopefully they do something, the cost of living for people in the U.S. and everything. But in the meantime, you got me all triggered there, FX. I have seen this channel, Kuya Cano. He was discovered by these Filipino YouTubers, got introduced as homeless. Then he started a channel, admitted he's not homeless, but got paid to say it. Interesting. Here's the biggest one that I have found to be a scam, and I will just tell you what the channel was about. Me and George still talk about this, and we subscribed to him. I think it's been less than a year ago. The guy was the one in Japan, and he was a previous skateboarder. Let me bring this down here a minute. And this is the one that kind of triggers me. But this one I will say I'm probably jealous of. You guys like, oh, you guys are jealous of the P and you're jealous of so and so because they're making money. No, this guy I am because he instantly hit hundreds of thousands of subscribers and they were sending him like during his live stream, he was getting hundreds of dollars. I'm like, huh, George, maybe we should just say we're homeless, you know? But basically the guy worked a 12-hour day, typical Japanese, micromanaged, bossed around big time job. So he quit that job and did some skateboarding with some people or something. And then the numbers dropped in half. Yes, about 2 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long. I could have just said 6 months ago, but almost 2 years ago, our numbers dropped in half. Why? Because now they want you to pay to play for Google AdSense. In other words, they want you to pay for advertising through Google. Some people are farming their numbers through other companies, which is illegal because you have to pay Google for it. So they cut people's numbers. So if you're a new YouTuber, you'll see where like some of the videos just like go viral and all that. They're trying to maintain those people the first year or two. But about 2 years ago, they actually start cutting and stuff. So anyways, this guy was out there and doing that, but his numbers got cut in half. So if he couldn't keep several hundred uh, like members on his membership, he says, I got to quit doing this. And so like, okay, so he quit, right? So then he said he was going to take his skateboard and he went to the top of Japan and he was just going to start. So he made himself homeless and then called himself homeless. And here's the thing, when this guy was doing this and grabbed all the numbers, oh, this is me, homeless. Oh, this is me. I'm only eating this in a tent and I can't do this, homeless. And everything was homeless and had his face in there, right? But then all of a sudden it would show him inside of a shop that he was sleeping inside. Like, I'm sleeping with my friend today, or I'm staying with my friend today. He was inside of a merch shop all of a sudden, and then he mentioned it was his merchandise. So it was one of them, what I felt was a little sketchy situation. But the guy's made bunches of money, and I want to say he's at 500,000 subscribers in less than a year and a half. And so it's because he called himself homeless. So anybody that's been doing that here lately that's had a channel actually goes, but I just can't, but the guy just took off like all get out, man. You have an Instagram channel, Philippine. Yes, most definitely. Yeah, guys, all social media. We started all social media 5 years ago. So Instagram, everything is Philippine Antics. Okay. We have sister channels. You'll see them listed inside. Like there's a little box, depends on what device you're using. But we have the 2 music channels and then the Expat-Tainment channel, which used to, like I said, used to be the pet channel. But yes, Philippine Antics is listed everywhere. There is no other channel named that. And now there is just a Philippine Antics on Facebook, but the other one is under George Mendoza. But at the bottom it says, like official or whatever, where it says Philippine Antics, George and Heidi on it. So, but nope, and everything. There's Twitter, everything. And we have 20,000 on TikTok. Now, we can be a little rawer on TikTok because they don't ban you for saying, the cuss words. And, I mean, there's some things you really can't do, although others do get away with it. I've seen someone that did a crime scene cleanup, and it showed the splatter and the blood all over the floor. It was horrible. And I'm like, but you guys took something down that we put up on Elliot Eastman being kidnapped. They literally took that down, but they left everybody else's up. So it means some jerk actually probably reported it. So, but either way, we have all of them. So he may have been born in Canada, but doesn't live there. He said all over with his dad. Gotcha. Hey, what is going on, Victor C? Call centers are closing. That is not good. Them are some of the best jobs. Yes, that's how a lot of them have been maintaining. I've often wondered how Filipinos really get by. Again, our income is over 100,000, which is when a Filipino is making. They said, like when they did an interview and asked people what they would like their husbands to make or what a Filipino thought was a good income, 30,000, 40 would really be nice. Oh, 20 would be nice, 20,000 pesos. And it's like, we don't even take vacations on that type of money. I mean, can we go to hotels here and there? And sure, but that still, that still puts us in a different bracket, but it doesn't make us the uber rich here. And it doesn't make us, I think they call that middle to upper class here. I'd have to check the stats and everything. But call center jobs can pay out 50, 60,000, and that's really good. A lot of hours, but you can actually make money there. They take those call center jobs away, it's really going to cause some issues. And so jobs are already scarce here. And what I'm really getting ticked off about is the cost of everything. And people are like, oh, you can afford it and you can this and that, but we shouldn't have to. The same with George. He's Filipino, his family's Filipino. Why should they? The costs are really, really going up here. They're starting to charge American prices. I just seen something else. I just seen like services, food. I seen items like food items that were at 400 and 500 pesos. Oh, there's somebody selling bread on Facebook to be delivered here in the Angel City area. All their bread was at 560 pesos for a loaf of bread. And it's because they're calling it artisanal. And that I'm like, no, I'm sorry. There's a lot of people that don't even make 560 pesos a day. And I'm like, I just can't see paying, give or take, $9, $10 for a loaf of bread in the Philippines. And it's like, I get it, but you would be surprised the amount of new cars here, the amount of money being spent. You go to SM, which is one of the more expensive grocery stores, and carts full of stuff, but then you realize a lot of people are living there. I don't get the economics here. It's one of the countries that I've really been baffled by, because at least in Mexico, where things were inexpensive, so was the groceries, the rent was dirt cheap. And I don't get the economics here, and there is no jobs. There was no jobs in Mexico. And so and you just can't, the more time that goes by, it's like when somebody says that's that cost, I'm like, it's like, just pay up. And George says, just pay up. Although you can get some cheap stuff. Like on the other hand, the ice cream guy goes up the street every day, and then I can pay like 25 cents for a cup of ice cream. Then you're like, bonus, but it's like, but the next 10 things that I purchase is way overpriced. And I hate going to the markets now because nobody even has the prices out at the markets that we keep going to. And then I get hit that way. And then George, and give you an idea that for those, if I didn't say this or didn't hear it, we went to go get fruits and vegetables. Like this past month, I've been stopping the process. You'll see me eat some donuts here and then. The Panda Cocoa was not quite processed. It was actually baked fresh and everything, but I've been trying. But I started doing a lot more fruits and vegetables. George got a bunch of bananas. It was 1.2 kg, which is under 3 pounds worth of bananas. So it appeared to be really oversized one. So I'm going to say there's probably like 10 bananas on the bunch. And they ended up charging us like 360, 380 pesos for it. And he just paid them for it. And I'm like, dude, that seems really high for bananas. I said, considering 600 would be a good job. And I said, that doesn't sound right. And I'm like, that just doesn't sound right. And come to find out, even SM charges half that for the same bananas. Matter of fact, it's up to 1.5. And I'm like, dang, man, they got us. And George's like, well, I won't buy from them no more, because I was there with them. And I was like, yeah, they seen me in the car and they seen you with the way you dress. I said, and we know it's in our neighborhood. That was what was bad. And I'm like, that's bad. And so we tend to get skin tax really heavy. It's like George, they think we're double foreigners, or they think he's OFW and I'm a foreigner, and that we can just afford it. But I'm like, no, even if I ordered the bananas online, it was that we were still overcharged by $2.50 US. And I'm like, that's way too much. And so it's just where it is. Regular guy does a lot of pump and dump in the Philippines. He said once that he had a one night stand. Yeah. And understand that also a lot of these guys tell a lot of stories. I'm not believing he's scoring that much. Sorry if you're listening, regular guy. So I think a lot of his stuff is stories, and some of them could be true. And I know he puts out a lot of like expat smut stuff, but it's like a supply and demand thing. And if that's what's bringing in his income, but I don't, I don't know. But I think he tells a lot of stories. It's good for him. Trump signed the executive orifice. That is my British accent. Office. I didn't say orifice. Office. Or I did say orifice, didn't I? Dang. Thanks, regular guy. Office. All federal employees back to in office with no more remote work. Right. And I was telling George that, and I was like, yeah. He goes, they should. He goes, they really should. I didn't realize there were that many things going on. Foreigners work in Philippines in a sorry store. Yes. Okay, when I said that, it means they own it. But yes, I've seen them actually working in a family member's sorry store. Yes, they sit there selling things. So, and here's the thing, all that requires licensing, all that requires everything. If you're sitting in there, you're still technically working in the Philippines if you're running that store, but let the government handle them, I'd let you guys know. A pension is best to have while living in the Philippines. Any job should be secondary income. It says otherwise you can't enjoy retirement working all the time. I would agree, because that is something that George has thrown in my face too. It's like I had to let him decide to do, like, if he was going to pursue the gaming channel about 2 years ago, and whether he wanted to put time into that, and if he wanted to do his little business transactions on the side. And because if I had said, hey, you need to, and it would seem like I was busting his chops, then I got thrown back like I've heard before, hey, I didn't come here to the Philippines to work. And he did say that 4 years ago. And it was because we noticed the cost was way different. It was not what we had seen online from the vloggers. It had nothing to, of course, we knew it wasn't going to be like when he had left the Philippines. And so he said 4 years ago, I didn't come here to work. And he really meant that. And so I'm like, yeah, but with the cost, I said, we may have to do something as far as savings, because we went through our savings really quick. And then when that first hurricane started coming through a few years ago, we helped out a few friends and family, and we went through our savings really quick. I'm going to tell you that right now. So I'm going to tell you that we blew through a lot of savings, setting up the initial house, buying everything, the furniture. We went through some money, some medical things that had to be taken care of. And so he's like, I'm not going to work. I'm not going to work. And then here we are. Then now we're trying to save, but at least we have that option. So, but yeah, you're not really enjoying at that point. As a matter of fact, at some point, it was like, for me, people are like, oh, you're working full time and you're really not relaxing and you're not this. It's part of my day. I manage my time really well and stay on a schedule. So I take care of the animals in the morning. I cook a little food, do my smoothies, go through some emails, anything we record in live streams. I'm gonna tell you right now, by 1 o'clock, there ain't nothing going on. So I mean, we do some video chats with people. So it's not full time for me. So it's kind of like where we can still help people. Like somebody the other day, we had a trollish person state that we didn't do any expat help. What are we talking about? And blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I said, you do you, and we'll do us. And we do try to help people. So we do spend some of our time doing video calls with people, especially if they're members and stuff. These are just things that we do and keep in touch. But it's like the other part of the day, I'm like, huh, let me get on YouTube. So that's or we go places or to visit family or the markets. And so just where it is. If you ever there with a large pension, you're on good shape. Yeah, if you have a pension, yeah, it does help. The Canadian YouTuber with the restaurant is on a investor visa. Okay, so that's if he's on the investor visa, does that fall under the corporation thing and all that? So then the buying the land and everything. So he went through and paid the 10,000 to get the investor visa. That's not through the business partners and all that. So he must have switched that over with the partners. So yeah, when you do that, I know there you can buy land through the corporation section, and it falls under an umbrella of things. So don't know all the full facts. It's kind of like what I would know in the U.S. that there's something. mm, How do you survive? Is streaming your only source? Maybe you can give us pointers to people that are thinking about moving. They're already or there. So you're new, Randy. For us here, we came here 4 years ago. My husband is a Filipino, so he works. He's been working. People have been throwing shade for years that, oh, they're only living on their YouTube and they're desperate, not really. It was always to help people and have fun and let people know what's going on here because we experienced a really bad experience of bad vloggers before we arrived. There's only a few that we really like that really put out real information. And whether people find that shade or not, but it's something that we wanted to do was putting out information and discussing living here as a female expat. So this has been done for 4 years. We've been live streaming for a couple years. We're mostly live streaming on Philippine Antics. If you guys are watching on Expat-Tainment Philippines, that one will start to have more expat help videos, but we've got probably 300 or more, 400 more. We got thousands of videos on this channel where we've helped in expat matters. As a matter of fact, most of these topics during our live streams is discussing things of what to do, what not to do in a group form. But none. I've discussed this before. If you go through our videos, it shows that I'm on Social Security disability. I have been for quite some time with a very multiple permanent disabilities, and then of course George works. So, and then we have savings. So there is no surviving point. It's cheaper to live here. We didn't like the politics going on in the U.S. We didn't like. There was everything going on when we left. It was during the pandemic, so it was it was 50% of our push to leave. So a lot of sick people. The prices were going up, and so yeah. Any new warnings from the Philippines on where not to travel as a foreigner? I haven't really looked. It I think they've even lifted the one in Mindanao, but I would just always be cautious where you go. Talk to the locals. Please say hi to George and thanks. Hi, I sure will, Victor. Yeah, like I said, I have to get the footage. So sometime between the next, um, probably, I try to release videos in between our live streams. So I'm hoping to release those other videos in the next couple days. But I keep the DJI with me. So if I'm recording something on my own, I actually use these. But I know how to process them out of there. George physically processes stuff on the GoPro, and it takes a while to get it out of him, and then to upload or do anything. I don't. It's kind of almost like private, like getting in a cell phone. I don't mess with his equipment that he actually keeps over with him. So he just like charges it. He's got a little like stand over here where I just don't mess with it. It's like his cell phones and everything. It's his own little space. He puts some of them in his office, but I just let him do that. What images on coffee cup? No. Yeah. Mork and Mindy, you're correct. It's the Fonz. We have a bunch of mugs. We'll be using them during our live streams. We've been doing it for a few years. We got photos of each other. It's getting time for me to bring back in our characters where I do the one Rachel with the blonde wig, but usually I like to interact with George when we do that. And there's been such serious topics. I didn't want to dress up as Rachel and do a character where we're playing around and doing these skits because you guys haven't even seen. Some of you guys have never even seen these. We haven't done those in a while. Or the Ricky character. So George dresses up with his long blonde wig and his hat, and we were going to do one where we both came on as Ricky and Rachel and just never did get back to it, but we will. So, but real quick, we usually use the different mugs. So yes, something I grew up watching. I probably need to do. Is there any requests for a mug? And don't say Biden. Hey, maybe we can do like an I Love Lucy. Maybe we ought to do like a I Love George. Da, 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 da. I love George. Mm. Dun, da, da. I was wondering, saying Mork and Mindy. Yeah. We have the Mork and Mindy. This one I thought about. This was one of our last few. We have like Baby May and Paul. We had like our last one. I got one done of him, and then we got one done of Ricky. And then I'll just be switching out probably different mugs, but it's time to get some more. The getting personal mugs here like this are fairly inexpensive. There's so many print shops online now, and I don't know. I want to say this is probably only about $3 with the everything print. So we are really happy with the company. So we were going to print T-shirts that way. We're probably going to bring our T-shirts back too, but I don't know. You'll be surprised that similar in other countries, Filipinos have the have and the have-nots, and usually live together in gated communities. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. Yeah, yeah. There's the have and have-nots. And a lot of them live together. Like if we had other people living here, like we have extra room in this house. Usually in this size of a house, there could be 2, 3 families living here, but we don't. The upstairs is mostly utilized. One room has George's office where he's got everything set up. And then we have a whole room that's just got like where we had like some of the clothes we brought and the other items we never took out of some Billy buying boxes and like cabinets, cat stuff. So basically the whole bedroom is a storage closet. So but there would be opportunity to have family, then the cost would get cheaper and they divide things. And that's what I'm learning now. Usually when we ask, things are in payments and there's several families splitting the cost. So the things are going up. I'm telling you, things are really going up, man. Trump signed an executive order allowing free speech without fear of prosecution. It really needs to be. And it should be. It's crazy now with these podcasters and these other people that YouTube will allow it. But if I said the exact same thing and it was reported, they could actually close channels based on that. But they do because they're so big and they're up there. But I have seen big channels get hit too. But it should be. But the problem is also with us in the Philippines, it's still actually limited. And it doesn't mean AdSense will pay us. So when we're making, like this month, we made like $300 US. Okay. So for the live stream stickers and everything after taxes, we made about $300 US. And we don't want to lose that either because the dog's food was like $40 just for her food. We bought a $40, $50 bag of cat food because we feed a bunch of the strays that are outside. I think there's like 6 or 7 strays out there. And so we're out almost $100 for cat and dog food and supplies for the pets. And so it's nice to have that. Not going to throw that away. We're not rich by any means. We're just regular. I'm collecting disability and George just makes X amount of money. Not going to throw it away either. But so we have to watch that. So before you're monetized, you can throw everything up. You can have music in there. And then once you're monetized, just like George said, it changed us. It was like it's somewhat selling out, but not. And then you have others that don't care if they get the AdSense, but you know what? I'm not throwing that money away either. We have apps and things that we use. Not stupid. But I wish we had the freedom of speech a lot more than, because believe me, this show's already starting to go raw. I really would like to go raw. They're going to build the new smart cities where the fires was. Isn't that the ones they're talking about, the smart cities? Yep, it's coming. Everything's too much of a coincidence. All these things coming up. Yep, Texas AI data center. Yeah, Abilene. Good morning. What is going on? Just watched a video last night of the homeless people in Hawaii. You would think you're in a slum area of a third world country, not part of the US. A lot of it is. A lot of the United States is going that way. I mean, do we really believe that can Trump really clean all this up? I've been watching, again, I'm not aware like affiliation, like I've been watching Fox and CNN and these podcasters go on about, Trump, during the previous administration, they couldn't stand some of the things he's done, but they're like, now they need somebody to come in and take hold of what's going on and change. And people are just looking for any sort of change. But are people blinded to what's about ready to happen? Or are they prepared for the real stuff that's about ready to hit hard? So I'm telling you, we'll see if it really goes into the golden age. And um, as a matter of fact, the next live stream that'll be done is pretty much like Daddy's home and Trump is back, but still not coming home. So we'll go through that, like the reasonings I came to the United States, or went from the United States and came to the Philippines situation, and see. But yeah, the lot of the homeless there, and the drugs, and a lot of cities look really bad. But Hawaii, I did see something similar. Greenland, yeah, he said he's going to get back to Panama Canal too. Oh, oh, I just need an allergy pill, maybe. It could just be with all the air blowing around here. It just feels. Show me your guarantee on eternal life, and I'll show you mine. Gotcha. I watched a video about the homeless in Guam, and it was pretty bad there. It's just getting bad in a lot of places, like Dog Eat Dog World. You think John Wayne had any feminine energy? He just died early. Abilene, cheaper real estate versus Austin, Dallas, very expensive real estate. Yeah. It's crazy. There's lines on the beach in tent houses and tarp villages. It's crazy. Oh, talking about in California. Yeah. Good morning, California. Oscar, how are you doing? Doing good. Biggest thing is I have to start arranging the fan because I got a fan blowing here. And it seems like every time it's like I feel like there's 1,000 pieces of cat hair on me. Never once touch my face when I'm sitting here in my so-called couch office here. Love it. It's comfortable. So, and when I do, nothing happens till the live start. So now I feel like I'm already messing with my face. I feel like I'm in a full allergy attack. But it's been a good morning. Got my smoothie going. As a matter of fact, I'm still drinking my blueberry smoothie, and I've been saving, like putting malunggay, like I've been freezing malunggay leaves, and I throw that in there, and a little bit of vegetables and fruits and vegetables, and make me a nice little smoothie in the morning. Do my thing. Yeah, I talked to this one gal there. She's got a different name each time. Yeah, some of them actually do that, John. Yeah, they show, okay, the pedo puncher where they go around assaulting pedos on videos, and they've been doing a long time, and it's not blocked. Yeah, and they won't do it. That's the crazy part, is these are against YouTube guidelines, and they're against AdSense. Now I get if they lose their AdSense. I get that. But it's really bad. Like it's same with the music videos. I get that they're going to put them up and everything, but remove it for everybody. That's all I'm saying. Don't mess with me if you're not going to mess with everybody. It's kind of like in school. It's like, wait a minute. If I punch somebody in the nose at school, you're going to come after me, and they have. But yet you don't do it to the other ones that are out there beating people up and stuff. And it's like, I believe in like equal opportunity offending, and don't mess with nobody. Just just leave people alone. But they don't. And I've seen everything from like where they cover like full crime, and the Vice. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that company called Vice that does YouTubing. And I think they're off of it. I think they've been doing stuff like on Facebook and everything. They're just not YouTube. Same thing. They do everything. They do everything that's raunchy, and they just covered like a 72-year-old granny that does fans only, and all of this stuff is on there. Like she's in full lingerie and everything, like showing her bits and parts and stuff. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. And so Yeah, that's all I'm saying. People are like, oh, you just yell. No, I just want the same opportunity to show my bits and parts. How about that? We put George's bits and parts. But they won't. I mean, AdSense, I could see losing at some point. That's fine. But it would give me an opportunity to speak more freely and call people out, or to, be able to like fully show things. Like there's videos that we really would like to show. Now we want to be respectful at the same time, but if everybody else is putting out, something similar, we should be able to be more raw about things or what's going on, and maybe it'll come. But oh, sorry. While moving to the Florida, I stopped. I'm Abilene in the middle of nowhere. It's why it's cheaper. Yeah, I mean, you can move to certain places in the United States, but still, even out there, it's got to start to be getting expensive. That one woman said 1,000 was the cheapest she found. I think the days of $800 a month or 1,000, especially if you have family, like a couple kids, and you need the actual room. That's just too much. But there's too much going on here too. Like I just seen another rental. It's a good size rental, okay? And but when I calculated it, it was almost 85. It was 85,000 pesos, or almost 1,500 a month. And I'm like, okay, it had 4 bedrooms. Okay, it had a swimming pool, not what I would call full size like United States. And I'm like, wait a minute, it's got, a couple bathrooms. And it's like, no, I'm not paying $1,500 because it's got a swimming pool in the Philippines. It's still an infrastructure thing for me. It's still the fact that you would pay that kind of money. Not everybody has, you're only supposed to do a percentage of your income as rent. And I'm like, even if George got a Social Security and he was still working, that would take a big chunk out of our money to pay for a place like that. And it's not even that nice. Like to me, it looks like it's worn down, and it just doesn't match the cost. Some of these people renting are getting like premium prices for properties that are like rickety. And to me, it would be rickety. And but to some people, like, oh well, 1,500 would be cheap in the US. You just got to get, I've got to get value for my money. And that's just where I am, especially the older I get. It's like you prioritize money, like for donuts and coffee and, some vodka shots or something. But it's like, you ain't get me to pay 1,500. T-Mog just had another rental. Yes, it was a big size. I always talk about T-Mog because it's like where a lot of guys go and some of the military guys go. And another rental came up, same thing. I think it was 40,000. I'm like, that's still almost 1,900. Or I'm like, no, I can't see it. But it's, but in the United States, same thing. But usually you have to move out to the middle of nowhere. And mm, call centers pay 15,000 tops. I speak to them daily. You do have a call center there in Manila that does pay a tad more. I know they pay more in Manila. Yeah. That's because many U.S. people work there in management. Oh, you talking about in the calls? There's lots of call centers. Yeah. So, yeah. Where's your farts on a hot griddle cats? They're running around here somewhere. Actually, we just have a few cats for quite some time, but sleeping as always. It's weird. Yeah, usually during the lives they're running around, but I think it's because with us getting up early in the morning and stuff, I think they just get all worn out by the time, they're about 4 hours in before the lives. Sleeping, more than likely upstairs, because they're not down here sleeping. I see the puppy. She's looking really cute, though. Bobby G, it's because unemployment rate's high or no farm work available. I really don't get it. In Australia, they have to take overseas worker to work on farms and picking, which is something I wanted to talk about, is the immigration issue in the United States and the mass deportation and ICE on its way and all these things going on. And it's like I'm for and against what's about ready to happen. Even George's foreigner said people need to do it legally. And we got a lot of foreign, like, there's a lot of roots, of course, in the United States of foreigners being there and everything. Just it need to be done properly. Like it showed people at the border crying and stuff. and it showed people that they're going to dump them out of those detention centers back out and stuff that they had them in, and they're all upset now. And I get it, my heart bleeds and stuff. Okay. But here's the thing, a lot of the migrant workers and a lot of the people that are working all these jobs are the foreigners, and a lot of them are undocumented. Okay, a lot of them are undocumented. So if they start doing these raids, just like somebody said, these companies are hiring, these certain companies are hiring um, illegals to begin with. These are the ones that are doing the tough jobs that Americans just won't do. And so we're talking about, somebody said they're even in medical facilities and stuff. I'm assuming they're buying their documents and that's how they're getting into these jobs. But they're saying if they start going through all the paperwork, but we're, all the tough jobs. And then comes along the children being born to these undocumented workers are being given citizenship. He just cut that off too. And it's like I'm for it and against it. I understand the situation. It's really tough. I just, you know, I feel people need to do everything legally, but it's really going. I think that's going to be a real upset in a lot of things. What is going on? No, I know for a fact my wife's cousin makes 25,000 a month. If they hit certain quotas, about 50 to 60. But yeah, I know there are some people making some money, and if there are certain management, I've heard up to 40,000. So I would agree with you, Bobby G, that what do you say, 15,000? Yeah, no, there are call centers here, and some of them are pogo call centers, or used to be, where they were legit and stuff, and they were making more money. They are hiring in quite a bit. So Heidi, try some food at a Muslim restaurant since they cannot eat pork. They have healthier dishes. They do, but they tend to throw a lot more oil and salt and all that. I'm wanting to do like more like hummus and beans, and the problem is like my stomach isn't meant to process a lot of fruits and vegetables, although I'm going to have to do it anyways. I just have to make changes like staying away from the packaged junk food and salty food. And it's more for my lupus. So the sugar and salt thing, losing any weight is a bonus. But I have to. But I would agree that there are, I found a few companies that'll deliver to me. I have one now. I'm thinking about like, they have like shrimp tacos. And so I may get some things and do a video of it today. But I would agree. They have a falafel sandwich. I think that's the other one I'm talking about. Is they have like a falafel, like taco, where they put like shredded Asian slaw on top of the falafel. So I like falafel too. I think they said they made it with the chickpeas. Call centers at Clark start at 25,000 bonus. Info direct from workers. Gotcha. Yeah. No, I figured they were making. Mhm. But you do have to qualify for those jobs. I mean, 25 seems a little high for starting and not being in management, but that might be about right. That's about 500-600 a month, give or take. So I always round it at 50 because a lot of people you hear like 58 is the exchange rate now, or 59, or it hits 60. Understand by the time you switch it through ATMs, picking it out, or getting it from the facilities, you lose a few pesos when you get that exchange out. So, but still, give or take 500-600 a month or something. Um, yeah, they gotta get in there and qualify. When I say qualify, they got to be able to use computers and pass the tests that they have. And sorry, sign a lot of acts that had nothing to do with aid cost living or Medicare. And I was wondering about that. Um, I did notice that he threw out things to shock the world, and it was a shock value. Also, I want to speak about Elon Musk today. Um, I discussed this with George yesterday. His action where he danced on stage, and it looked like he did a Adolf situation. They tried to defend him and say that it was a Roman thing. Here's the thing: none of the action that he did was like proper. Like it would all led to everything. Roman would have been bad. Mussolini look would have been bad. The Adolf look just look bad. As a matter of fact, in the 50s, they used to do the pledge of allegiance, and they used to hold their hands up towards the flag. And I remembered seeing footage of this before, and they stopped it because it looked so much during that time where Adolf was doing that. They're like, yeah, we're going to stop this. That just all looks bad. And so they did stop having the kids point at the flag because it looked similar. So to me, understand, I want you guys to work with me, especially being most of the people watching us are over 40 and 50. Everything is a shock value now. He's trolling you guys. Anybody that goes out of the way, heck, I could be trolling you guys sometimes. I don't even know it anymore. It's just kind of like he did it for shock value, and he did it to troll you guys. He wants you guys to talk about him. The more you talk about him, the more his Bitcoin and the more his coin that he just made goes up, and the more money he makes, the more they talk about him. People are now starting to buy all the books that these guys put out about him, and now it's going to make you want to, do all this stuff. And so he's trolling. That's what he wants. I don't think he would. He I don't think there's any chance that he just did it because he believes in that. I also don't believe. I think it was all a troll situation. He's trolling you guys. He's trolling the world, just like some of these other things. But right now, with everything going on, and he did all those back to the executive orders, all the things he released was trolling the world. He really wanted a reaction. I rescind everything that the previous president did, which I don't know. It might have been a good idea. And then he went on about the immediate thing about the borders and all these things that the president released. But I'm still curious. It doesn't seem like he's doing anything for the average person that he actually signed. Like, I mean, talking about, like you said, the cost. I think he did sign something he claimed that was dealing with didn't Lou, didn't he just do one about, wasn't one of the things he signed was dealing with costs though? But yeah, Medicare, medical, cost of living, all of that needs to be addressed. You know, it's he's trolling everybody. The whole thing just looks crazy in front of the world, but they're eating it up. He's coming in to show, and then understand this is the year that he's got his people on his side. So previously they would have had the other party in there in the Senate or whatever fighting him. I guess now's the year. Everything, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's just what's going to happen. He's about ready to change all kinds of things. My thoughts is it's all going to benefit the billionaires, and that, but there could be benefits for the small people when all this stuff gets done. You guys may only have 3 restaurants. Like, it might literally be like, was it Demolition Man, where you guys are just all eating at Taco Bell? So sorry about your luck there, boo-boos, because you could just be eating Taco Bell all the time. Who knows? Maybe they'll get that one world passport. Oh, and then he withdrew from the WHO. Then he withdrew from the alliance with the Paris one in regards to climate. Who cares about climate? But we're talking about trillions of dollars. Where's them trillions of dollars going to go, man? I mean, is he going to put it back in? Can they drop that into Social Security? Or, Heidi didn't do so well over the years. I'd like to have some money, please. But no, who knows? Hopefully, I just want to see where the little guy benefits, but I don't think the little guy ever gets ahead. Can't do that without a tourist visa. Gotcha. Which one, Cano? Let me know what that is. Ruby, yeah, I'm sure. We will keep plenty of meat to demand, and we really need to get on helping all the people who lost everything at the fires, yeah, and other disasters, or what good are we as Americans? Also, in saying that, I don't know if you guys seen, you probably already have, but it's what I've seen this morning. There was an attack on a school. And it was in, where was it, guys? Tennessee? Yeah, Nashville. Sorry, Nashville. So it might have been, yeah, Nashville. And so there was an attack, and they were like the first thing that happened under the presidency or something. Here's the thing, with all this stuff going on and everything being cut off, and with the immigrants that possibly could be rounded up, does anybody else see disaster coming? Like people popping off and other people, because it's just not going to be Hispanics they're gathering up. They're going to go through and grab everybody. It's like, he looks a little Hispanic to me. Back to Mexico. But more coffee, guys. I'm on a roll here. So there's other stuff coming. I don't think this is all just gonna lay down and go really smooth like jelly beans on Easter Day, or like George when he shaves and we break out that oil. I don't think it quite goes like that. Jelly beans on Easter Day. Ruby, yes, my cousin makes that. I think she gets like 5,000 or maybe 10,000 in a bonus if she hits her numbers every day. Plus the yeah, I still couldn't see. That's a lot of hours, but it's good money here. So I mean, I was thinking about selling my bacon and candles out front of the house here. And I'm like, man, even if I sit out there all day, George, there was something we thought about just selling here on market day just for shits and giggles, or George was, George knew it would be a hot mess. And I'm like, he's like, I was like calculating, okay, even if I sold 30 of them, I was like, no, I'd make a whole $5 for the shopping, the cooking, and I wanted people to try like American food. I was going to do the shredded barbecue beef sandwiches with like an Asian slaw. George says there'd be no money. He goes, you'd make 20 cents per item, and you'd sit out in the heat for 10 hours selling it during market day. And it's like you'd just be doing it for just. We might as well give it away for the YouTube channel. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll go out and get a market spot. Nobody else has got a licensing for it, and I'll just give away shredded barbecue beef sandwiches. But yeah, it's really hard to make money here. But yet others charge things like I've seen a little tin of ice cream for like 700 pesos, and it exists. Then she's got 3 stores that way, and I'm like, George said something. People that see expensive items, they tend to buy it also, thinking it's a value. And I'm like, yeah, I get that and don't. Sorry to see your question. I believe it's like that. Our previous administration dropped the ball, not helping any of the people who lost everything. So people are struggling badly, especially now. Everybody's not. I don't hear nothing about Florida anymore. I don't hear anything about North Carolina, as North and South Carolina was affected. And it's like you don't hear none of that. It dropped out. It's like they killed all the hashtags on it, and nothing comes up in social media. You have to go searching, and you're still not finding anything because the media has moved on to the next thing, and there's so much devastation now. We are just numb. We're just so numb. If I see somebody, it's like I can't even say that part of it, but yeah, we just numb. That's what's really going on. Plus, there is not enough housing to get people into afterwards. Yeah, there's just not. They'd have to leave the area with the migration at the hotels and rentals and everything. The fires there on the beach street. Yeah, it's just absolutely full. So, and they said, like I said, to rebuild. Think of it this way. Imagine those houses that survive. Like when you see those neighborhoods, I just seen one the other day where there's like 1 or 2 houses on a row that survive. Imagine with full ability to live there. That would be depressing as heck. You'd be looking around and all it would just look like a war zone. It would just be depressing. And that's one thing I tell people. I'm going to digress here a little bit about being in the Philippines. You can live in a nice neighborhood and you can drive right outside by 2 miles, right outside your little cute hotel and everything, and it's nice inside the hotel. And then you step out, and there's like trash and the animals, and you just have to get used to the infrastructure. Imagine as Americans living in a beautiful neighborhood like that, and then most of it's burned down, looks like a war zone. It's just depressing, all black, burnt ground and ashy trees and all dried up, and you're the 1 or 2 houses on that street where you can live in your house. That just can't be. There's no way. So these people are going to try to sell also. There's no way they're going to stay in there. And then when the construction starts, let's imagine you do stay and you're like, hey, I've been here for 30 years and I'm just going to stay. I mean, the construction of all those new houses, talk about not getting any sleep. It's like, oh, hammer, 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 and zzz, 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 all the time. It's just, you're going to be like, I got to go, go, go. And so, and then people moving, they're moving to other bigger cities now. They're jacking the rents up. And no, guys, I saved all that before my neighborhood got burned down. Mm-mm. I help my wife prop up her business, and she is more than stable, which benefits me. I got some investments, and I rent my house out in California which more than enables me to live in the Philippines. That's good. It doesn't always work out that well. There have been some that have left rentals behind and it's caused issues. I bless you on that one for trying to do a rental outside, unless you have somebody helping you there. But yeah, it's good that you can get that all set up. Our cumulative income is 6 grand a month, and that goes a long way. Well, yeah. Get your financial long term plan in action. Yes, most different. But that's not 6 grand a month is not normal here in the Philippines for these retiring expats. So, with your plans and monthly income coming in, that is a good month amount for sure. That wouldn't be normal living in the U.S. Not about 1,500 a week, but then again, I don't know what they're actually paying anymore. 6, 7, 1,500 a week. Yeah, I mean that would be if you work 5 days, that's a couple hundred US a day, then that would be a good income. Unless you're like a super like professional. I think you still have to have a Filipino owner 50%. Yeah, I think you do. Most definitely. The type just because you get an investor visa, I don't think that people don't understand when you get your visa, like George said, or these other things we've been talking about, doesn't mean you're allowed to work here. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get your business permits and all that doesn't come inclusive. Like we were talking about Q's adventure. It just because he had this duck in a row, does he have his work permits? Does he have, his proper visas and all of these require it's not an instant jackpot of getting all your stuff in one unless you're hiring an attorney that goes through and gets all these things for you. And then they're not all inclusive. So, as I'm to understand, yes, the investor and the SEC or any of that, or whether it's all together, like the visa is just a visa. Then you'd have to go through and register as a corporation and do all that. It's totally something different. And he's got partners. So, yes, I believe he did mention his Filipino partner. I'm not sure about the 50%. Heidi, after 4 years of living in the Philippines and limited sources, savings depleted. Yeah, we have some. Haven't you guys considered heading back to the U.S. and building savings? No, not at all. For good reasons, and it's because one, it wasn't in our plans, and two, we've already sold everything. We've mentioned that Ruby is that we've left the U.S. We sold everything. We don't have a house to go back to. We both had a place when we left. We had two rentals. George had a house and I had a rental. We absolutely got rid of everything, and prices have soared in 4 years. We can't afford that. There's no way. That means George would have to go back and get a full time job. It's been 4 years. He has no resume for that except for what he's doing here. And so for us, yes, it would be a lot of problems. Would we do it in an absolute emergency? Yes. And we're not totally depleted. We're almost depleted. So he's been working, and that's why he's spending more time doing that. So we're not in that type of danger. We're not that hurt. So do you see what I'm saying? It wouldn't make any sense. We're not broke, hurting, or are we one medical issue from having a problem? Somewhat. I still have a level of insurance here. So I don't think we're in that much of a problem. So almost depleted. So, but close. Yeah. I mean, we don't have enough to buy a house anymore. We don't have enough to build a house anymore. We don't have, we couldn't go in and buy cash for a car situation. So it's that type of thing. Yeah, we can't go out and go to a fancy hotel, and we're not going to take some of the money we have out of the bank and, plan a trip that costs us several thousand to go down to a resort in X island and get on one of those boats where they charge $1,000 a day to be on those river boats with all those bedrooms and glass, doors and everything. We don't have that type of money. We're not like in the upper echelon thing. Hello, Ruby. Thank you. H and G are a zany couple. Yeah, we try to be. Do a cartoon of you and George for the coffee mug. Oh yeah, one of those. Yeah. Okay. He's talking to us like, I know. guys are just talking. Nice Bobby G. My wife does a drone business, has a little farm for strawberries. Yeah, man, I would love some strawberries right now. Things are really seasonal here in Basil, Australia. Shrimp. Yeah, teaches English online. Strong income for the most definitely. I really want to go to Baguio. If I could figure that out and I start to get healthy as I'm losing weight, I'm more worried about. I have not been to Baguio yet, but George says there's a lot of streets are going uphill and there's a lot of things. But I don't go out a whole bunch anymore, anyways, because of my lupus, the sun, my breathing. I get sick like even just touching anything. It just seems like I get sick pretty quick. So I'd be limited, anyways, on always being out in public. So but I'm more looking for like setting a chair outside and some clean air because here right now in Mabalacat City, on the outskirts of Angeles, it's the air. It always seems like they're burning plastic. It always like when we were at Candy Palace, that's all we could smell was where it seemed like something was burning. And so different areas, it just seems like the air pollution is really bad in some cities here. And I would like to go further out where we have more fresh air and the weather was a little cooler. And because I can't, because if it's extremely hot and the sun's coming down, then I break out in rashes and I break out in hives, and so many different things affect me. As I know people's like, oh, you can't go outside in the sun. Couldn't do it in Florida either. So, but yeah, I would like to be able to start like gardening and stuff. But yeah. How do you send a package to the Philippines without it costing $300? I looked at shipping costs to be here. Um, how we get it from family members and from our viewers, they do Billig buy-in boxes. You can Billig buy-in something for about $100. Some it's like 120. They send an oversized box. So if you're sending a family member something, you could do it that way. If it depends on the item, then there's different ways. So it depends on what you're trying to get to them. But if you're like with Amazon now, if it's under a certain cost and on their list, it is free shipping. So it is better for some people to make a list and go off of that list. Like if it's a family member that needs things for, say, their baby, then you could do it that way. And then they ship. There is Amazon um, warehouses, I believe in Singapore. I believe they said they were building one here at some point. I don't know if that ever happened. Or you have to pay for it because we thought about sending members items too, and we did this exact same thing. We were going to send, like when we had gotten some merch here, we really considered. We ran into the same thing. It was going to cost like $200 to send one or two items. So it is, and it's always going to be that way. When we had cards sent here, we've had two credit cards sent here. We had to pay $120 to have it sent through FedEx and to make sure it got here and everything because we tried regular mail. I do get regular mail. I've had it from Social Security from the U.S. And so it's almost an impossible. So whatever you're doing, you would want to find another way to do it. Wait a month or 2, 3 months to have it come through Billig buy-in, or get the items directly that the family members need through, say, Lazada, Shopee. Create your account, use a VPN if you need to, get a SIM card that has it, or use their phone number and actually go through and order things to be shipped locally because, you know, besides that, you just have to bring it or send it with somebody. Yeah, that Canadian YouTuber is in tight with the mayor and the governor and their family in Roja. Okay, so he is politically connected, backed him, and promoted Roja City in a show. He's really moved up because he went from. I watched him walk around here with his ex-wife, and they were always at ABC. We've been up at ABC, and when his channel was fairly small, and then they had their little divorce, and then just after that, he must have got a bunch of investors and people involved, and then the restaurant. Yeah, he politically tied himself here. But fair warning to those that politically tie themselves here, not always a good idea. Also, so there's pros and cons to that. And I don't know if I'd be doing the YouTube channel. I get that he feels it's promoting the restaurant and what he's doing, but if you're really investing that much into the restaurant, then for me personally, we would have dropped the YouTube channel at that point. So And I know it's easier said than done, but because I don't believe it's bringing that much advertisement for him. So it may just be a form that he sees it as advertisement, but it's just because like there's a lot of different things that he shows and everything. But no, I don't. I wouldn't want to be politically tied. But yeah, he's done well. That's amazing, man. Good for you guys. Many blessings to you and your family business. Good morning, Curtis. Messiah Kana was just going on about his family. I have my own little office, and we live in a humble, in an apartment complex, 3 kids. That's good. Yeah, Billy buying boxes. There it is. About 100. Takes about 2 months. Yeah, I'd wait it out or do the other thing. If it, like I said, if it's a gift for something or they need medicine, you're like, oh, I can get it here. You can still get it here. If it's medicine, you can even, you can even sign up for like different apps that have different things, like Watson's. Use a VPN, get that app or something, and then go through and have medicines. You can have pharmacy items sent. There's many different ways. Message us on Facebook Messenger, sign up. I believe you have to sign up for that on Philippine Antics through there, and just message and give me a better idea what that is, or an email. PhilippineAntics@gmail.com has existed for about 4 or 5 years too. It's in our in content, at the end about us information. And the boxes are good size. Yeah, you can send all kinds of things. We receive them all the time from our members and from friends. It's really nice. It's a blessing to get them. So yeah, we just had our first baby, and I want to send. There it is, and I want to send things there, and it's so hard to fly with the stuff I wanted to. So that's what I would do. Do you get those? No, Bobby. Whatever town you're in, just Google. Just put Philippines store, and there's always a Filipino store somewhere nearby. And then, or just type in the Billy Buy-in box situation Filipino store. Local Filipino stores offer that. They'll even give you the boxes. Like when we were in the Tampa Bay area, Sarasota area, they came to our house. So they actually drove and picked up the boxes. Some will drop off the boxes too. So look for a service that's there. We tipped the person like $20 when they came and got the 2 boxes. We'd send them away 2 boxes at a time, and they, get them up on their truck, and they'd go and take them to the store and then ship them off to the actual ships and stuff. But yeah, give or take 100 to 120 for but there are services that do it. Yeah, 1/4 of children in the U.S. are food insecure. It's true. I think the country's falling apart. So, and I think from here, guys, the rich are only going to get richer. Kind of like here. It's just kind of like such a drastic. People are extremely rich here, or they're extremely poor, and there, I think it's the end of all end. I think things will get done in Trump's mind and for the rich. I think all that stuff's about ready to, I think he got his support from the people that he needed to. Now he's got his hand in the cookie jar. I think he's going to eat all those cookies and show him who's boss. Am I happy he's taking control and showing some nads? Yes. You know, you either love the man or hate him. He's done a bunch of things over time to make people say, "What's really going on?" But I think there's a lot about ready to go down, and I think he's going to offend a lot of people. And I think when I say that, I'm talking about like other political people around the world. And I think he wants that war. I think he does. So we'll see where it goes from there, guys. Let's see. Back recession and the dollar going down, affecting all of us expats. Nope, no one's laughing at the US now. I think they are to some extent. We now have a felon president that has said one thing and then another, and then now he's in there signing all these executive bills. I still think they're laughing at him at some points, but I think I think right now overall, he's showing him or trying to show him who's boss. Where's the backfire from it? Where is, what's the outcome going to be long term? We'll know here in about a year. It may not even take a year. So, but nope, he's about ready to grab people up and snatch them up, which I'm kind of glad that's the way I would do it. I mean, it's how I actually handle things, and I wish, that, somebody had done it sooner, but I'm afraid of all the other things that are happening and the people that he's letting into the cabinets and who's in the cookie jar. Oh, no one is laughing now, and you don't think they will again for a long time. We're back, baby. We back. Yeah, I mean, we did need somebody. Don't get me wrong. We need somebody in there. A lot of people laughed at Kanye West, and they laughed when Kanye met up with Trump, and they laugh at people like him or like me spouting off all the time. And it's like, no, it's like this channel. We say a lot of things, and we put a lot of things out there, and we put ourselves out there and stuff, but it needs to be said. And it's gaining like traction. I said, this is my year, baby. I'm about ready to pop out of this box. And I told George, I said, just let me at it now. I said, you're working, you doing your thing. I said, we're still doing the channel. I said, but it'll give me an opportunity. Like if I'm just sitting here and all of a sudden something comes up in the news, you'll probably see me turn on a live stream now. I just plan to live stream more freely about things that are going on. But no, I'm it's about damn time. It's about damn time. So, he just, it looks like he's going to do what he said. But we'll see. Keep that momentum going, man. I'm not politically motivated either, but he's been in office 2 days and did more in 2 days than he did in 4 years. Yes. He was president already and no one was jailed or lynched or only, go up on God willing. Yeah, and here's the thing. Well, I'm not going to get into the church service thing, but yeah, I would agree on that he has signed a lot of things in action and put some things forward that nobody can deny, neither party. A lot of that had to be done. So I'm not so optimistic. For 10 years, been trying to get their Afghani buddies and their families here, and Trump told them no. Oh, you're talking about they've been trying to get him from over there and bring him home. I have some some knowledge about some of that, and yes, I know that they were promising some of that because, like, my ex-husband was over there in Iraq war as an Egyptian that did translating, and they made a lot of promises to bring people back over here that I don't think ever happened. And so with that, I can see that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not trying to jump on both sides. I know there are things that he said that he was going to do. We shall see if he's going to do them. Yes, he's taken more action. I said this kind of feels like a bipolar ride. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. Like I said, I feel like cat allergies, but there's no cats around. Ugh, it could just be allergy season. But well, we shall see. Um, I this is like this last like during the political race. I probably say last 2 3 years is when I've really paid attention to politics. I've neither been there or neither here nor there on things. I think a lot went downhill with Biden. It's Jimmy Carter that I actually missed. That takes you away. You got to get a job in a cheap, low cost city. That's the hard part. No industries. Yeah, that hire. Yeah, there's just, and it's a bad age for me in Georgia, in the United States. It's a bad age for us now. If we would even consider going back and grinding really hard. We're talking about like we would have to grind like oh get out and probably live in a tent on top of it. And there's no reason for that. If we've got some savings now and we've got steady incomes coming in all areas, there's no reason for us to go back. We may never have any serious health issues. I mean, like serious, like needing where something would wipe out our savings to have maybe a heart surgery or something. We're not looking at facing that. So if we were to go back to the US and even consider it, with me, I'll be 54 this year and George will be 51. This is an age where it's hard to get jobs. One person after the other, I hear, cannot get a job at that age. And so it would just be really bad. Most people that lose their jobs at that age or think they're retiring early and had to come back to work again, it's a real bad time. The rent in Cali, 3,500. Yeah, that's really good. Did this the whole last live stream. It feels like allergies. But there's nothing here. There's no flowers. Now, oh, wait a minute. You know what? George brought some of those, the Cali lilies when he went to Angel City 2 days ago. He brought back those necklaces that you buy that are in front of the churches. It's up there by the fan. That's what's going on, guys. I forgot. Is that what they call them? Cali lilies or something? They're up there, and I do have a bad allergy to most flowers. And the fan is right there at the cabinet, and they're right at the top of there. I wonder if it's passing through that, and I'm getting the. And they've been up there for a few days. Did you see what he did for the vets today? Last term, he was caught tooth and nail on everything. This time, maybe a lot different. It's all in the vet and military, but now it's time. Yeah, we shall see. Most definitely. Not for 1,200 vets that were sponsoring their Afghan refugees. Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, I don't think Trump can fix all the problems. There's so many of them for the last couple presidents that, because he was what, the one previous to, um, he was president, what, one term back before Biden? I can't tell you if that's how far back it was. But there's still a lot to fix. And I really think that Biden ran the country into the ground. I also believe that at that point, um, like you said, he was just like he pardoned his son and did all these things. There's a lot, guys, to even go through. Hey, chosen one. I could live in the U.S. on 1,500. I've done it all my life. You have no choice. Yeah, yeah. I just can't see living on that right now. That's insane. Yeah, you would have no choice, but that would be really tough for us. I mean, rent probably the cheapest we would be able to find in Florida if we were lucky would be 1,200 for a one bedroom, 1,000. And so I just couldn't imagine trying to get transport, food, the co-pays. My medicine outright is way cheaper than each copay that I was paying, even through Medicare with the supplement. And then there was a supplement through the actual government because I was under so much. So it's like it was practically down there, but I think I was still paying $5 and $10. By the time I paid for all the medications, it was still up there. And it's like I just couldn't imagine it. I could not see even with the supplement and the supplement. So, and I wouldn't be living with family. We wouldn't be living with any family members or anything. So, cell phones aren't cheap. At least our cell phones are $10 a month. It's just not worth it. There's some things I really miss, and then the rest of it, I'll deal with the infrastructure and problems here. It's a daily struggle sometimes, and got its own level of grind, but I just can't see it. And even here's the thing: if I was to win some weird lottery all of a sudden, and I had millions of dollars, I would still stay. I would probably live a couple months a year over there just to hang out or go back every few months. But even that travel back and forth, I don't think I could do medically. I would still stay here in the Philippines for different reasons. I'm an owner operator, truck driver in the States mostly. Stick to the central and east coast states is where the money is for my line of work. I love on the road, or you live on the road 6 months, then there 6 months. Yeah. The hiring freeze on federal employees also affect the VA directly in a negative way. Is that what they did? Is they said they put a freeze on that? Yes, he pardoned the criminals investigating to overthrow our democracy. Plus, he wouldn't hear the plea from the pastor of the chosen faith for mercy. He's a sick man inside now. All right, I will address that real quick, being you mentioned the pastor. Um, the pardon, I couldn't. I mean, I paid attention to some of that happened. I don't, to be honest, I can't even tell you why that all happened. I mean, I know some of the story about all that. That's just something I'd rather watch. I go off and watch other things than to watch when that all happened. I know that it was all bad. Um, Pardon, I don't know anything about, but the pastor I will speak upon is that, oh, and the one gender thing, that's got people up in arms right now. So with all the kids that did the transition and of their bodies and all of this, and they won't acknowledge it and all that, that just opened up another can of worms. But um, she should have saved that for another time. Doing it at a presidential, it doesn't matter. It was not her time to bring all that up while she was doing her sermon. It would to me, it was wrong. It's for me. She should have did something in private, or she should have to put it out and put him on the spot. If that was me, I would do something about it. So I'm just sorry. I would have. To me, I would have took on more personal. I would took on something more personal at that point if that was me as the president sitting there. That she should have came to him direct. I get the plea, but she used the sermon on a day that it was just bad business. So like George said, he goes, that was so unprofessional. It doesn't matter what if she would have said, hey, there are 1,000 kids in this room starving, blah blah. It was not really right for her to do it on the spot and to have mercy, and that she went through and used that personal time to address him. So yeah, she's in big trouble right now, I'm sure. So it's just no way. To me, I would have seen that as super personal. She should have. No, I if she could be fired, removed, or whatever, she'd be fired. You guys can take that to the bank. She should have done that. I mean, there's a lot more. She could have done that on so many other different levels. And there's a lot of people that agree and disagree. It was brave of her, but it was really bad business. And yeah, the pardon thing and everything. There were some that were innocent. They say there were some that deserved to stay in there, and then what he released them all. I think that's really off too. There's a bunch of people that deserve pardons, so to just choose them, no, he's really really going to use his presidency in so many. Oh, and then he said he's suing the government. He says that he has a lawsuit against the U.S. government now. So a president that's also suing his own government in front of people. If we're a laughing stock, we're a laughing stock because of that right now. So there's so many different things. It's like so bipolar. It's a bipolar presidency. Yay! It's like, wait a minute. Did you just say you're suing our government on top of it? It's like my grandparents are just rolling over right now in their graves. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's crazy. It's like way to go. And it's like the only way I see this now is through like YouTube and reading the news and stuff. And then I listened to him in his own words. He just said that. He goes, I have a lawsuit, yes, against the US government right now for what's happened. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So on one hand, it's like take this and I've got rule of the country. And then on the other hand, he's turning around and saying, I'm going to sue my government. It's like, so I don't know. Come on over to the Philippines. It's always warm weather over here, and the rents are cheap, and the ladies are beautiful. I'm really gonna, you know, take a Trump break. Daddy's home here in the Philippines. Oh, sorry, I keep doing that. I put it up. My coffee's wearing out. Yeah, my dad rents a house in Michigan, has a couple cars, and lives only off the 2,800 a month rent. Is 650, depends where the people want to live, honestly. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Hey, our Philippine journey's back. Yeah, getting into different talks here. Okay, I'm a little behind here. Heidi, I really believe that Trump is going to go after the bad guys and leave the good people alone. He doesn't have the manpower time. He's going to go, only going to be president for 4 years. Yeah, we have to see where he goes on that for sure. Yes, and that's true. Meat packing, Alaskan fishing, agriculture, construction, so many industries undocumented. When I lived in the Ozarks, the tri-state area with Oklahoma and with Kansas and Missouri, they had a lot of chicken plants. I'm gonna tell you right now, it was 99% Hispanic, and so many of them, like during the like that 2 years I lived out there, it went from all of a sudden it just seemed like there was a bunch of Hispanic people all of a sudden living out there in the Ozarks, and it was like, okay. So at one point, yes, I had worked haven't denied this, and I mentioned it one other time. I worked at a chicken plant for like 2 months, and I was just excited because I could get like these 20-pound bags of chicken for just a few dollars. But it was freezing. It didn't last very long. It was like I was in the one deboning chicken, and it was like back then. God, that was a long time ago. I was upper 20s. I wasn't even quite 30 at that point. And it was a job out there, and it was like there were no other jobs, but the rent was dog cheap out there. And so yeah, but yes, they were mostly. So I have seen that firsthand, and a lot of them, yes, were undocumented. It was fun. It was another one of those, you know, just working 9 to 5. Illegals are one of the reasons it's hard to get my wife a tourist visa. Yeah, no sympathy for illegals. I'm gonna skip through some of these. Yes, who's gonna pick? Yeah, YouTube experiment. Good morning. Tough jobs like agriculture. Who's going to pick? Yes, most definitely. Most definitely, it's really going to become a problem because it's not. I'm sorry, not me. Anyone who says that wasn't the Nazi symbol. It's literally part of the problem. Not really. Because most of the people saying that would have no idea really what it was like or anything. Most of the people dealing with that have already passed on. My grandfather was in a concentration camp. And so somebody in our family did suffer from all of that. And at first I was taken back by it, and it was shock. It was like, did he really just do that? And then I'm like, nah, he's just trolling. And it's literally not part of the problem. Because nobody, I mean, they talked about it for like the first, was it yesterday and the day before when it actually happened, but not part of it. There's it's literally like split. Half the people are saying nope, it was just a deal where he was doing, the thing with the Romans, and then the other part said that it was. Then you have to have the third party. Like, I started thinking at first, I was like, oh my god, did he really just do that? Because I come from, with me born in the 70s and stuff, we, went through that. And then with my grandfather, it's like, did he do that? And the more I thought about it, it's like, he can't be that stupid. He can't be that, you know, I'm not believing he's part of it. So in order to believe some of that, you'd have to believe he's part of all of that. Sorry, I'm not believing that either. I'm sorry. I'm not believing that Elon Musk is. So you'd have to actually believe a lot of different things. I believe he's just trying to get people, you know. So yeah, let's just hope the Sean says let's hope the peso rate doesn't tank. I remember when years ago it was 43. As a matter of fact, pretty close to what it was about 4 or 5 years ago. I believe when we entered the country, it was at 44 or something, 43, 44. So it was still better than, it could go a lot lower. So and Canada, they fly in seasonal farm workers to do the farm work when they fly them back home after the farming season. So let's see. Where do you have to pay attention to the time? Thank you so much, California Oscar. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, guys, join membership. Be more like California Oscar. Don't you want to see my blonde ambition photos when I was a blonde back in the day? You can only see that if you're a member. And only if you're a member will we really take the time to reach out to you and really care about you. You can have a virtual Heidi hug. Become a member. Thank you, California Oscar. Appreciate it. Is it Gusty, guys? We haven't heard Gusty in a while. I'll erase my statements. Let's see. Yeah, maybe. Doubt it. Before he cuts my disability, yeah, you'll keep working. No, I think you're trying to say you'll keep working. No, we'll see. We'll see. Before that happens, then he's got to go through and get rid of the other people's disability because I paid into my disability. This ain't free disability. So, and then here's the thing: here in a few years, I'm going to get my regular Social Security, and that's even if it still exists. I get that part of it, but they're just not going to cut off disability. They're going to start grinding at other things. That's not going to happen anytime soon. So, evidently, you don't know a whole bunch about the American Social Security system, where they'll start and how long they have left, and all of that. It won't be me losing mine. They'll get rid of a bunch of other things before they do that. And it'll definitely be the ones born into Social Security that didn't pay into Social Security. So there's a whole different level. Elon is just insensitive on people's feelings. I think so too. A lot have that theory also. So in other words, he's trolling, majorly trolling people, and it made everybody think about it. And he's playing on people's feelings. I'm not believing he's a part of that. Like there's because not only does that represent that one party, but it represents the other serious white party. You know, the white meat parties out there. Okay, and so if he's doing that, I'm not believing he belongs to either party that he's part of or believes or whatever. I believe it's just something he did to be more popular on the internet, and he wants people to think about that. Could he have been just hopped up and not on his Ritalin that day and just went nuts or something? Possible. But not seeing a problem, I could see why people would say, oh, then you're part of the problem if you didn't see the problem. But we could say that about 100 different subjects. But it was very insensitive, yes. Oh, believe me, my grandfather passed away at 94, and my grandmother was tattooed, and it was, it just when I seen that, that's actually the vision that came into my head. And so the fact that I would even have to think about that for a moment, that would be, you know, you're right, Ruby. That's the first thing. It was like, man, what a ding dong. But it's on the other hand, I have to be honest and say, genius, man. It's like he did something to catch people's attention, and we know he ain't about it. It'd be like him coming out on stage, and when I say genius, I mean, let's say he came out on stage and had Snoop dreads and came out with a joint in his mouth, and he came out there doing this and everything and did something to act like something else. And I get that it's kind of not the same thing, but he did something to catch people's attention. If he did the same thing, we would be like, oh man, he did something for a shock value, but he chose the wrong freaking thing. And it's like, I mean, he could have came out with a house or some a little model of a house, and he could have put it like on an Olympic torch or something and had it on fire and put Los Angeles on it, and could have came out swinging it or something. Like, too soon, man. I'm surprised, but to choose that was really, yeah, I mean, kind of crazy. He raised prescription medications by canceling Biden's orders. Ah, that was part of the situation. He rescinded everything. Yeah, I guess people didn't think about that. They were all cheering when he said they rescinded everything that he did. So I wonder how that actually works. Everything, huh? I will put that up. With Nazi is German thing. Nobody cares but the Jews. OMG, did I really type that? Ah, snap. I'll stop. Well, you're just keeping it real, man. And I that's what I was trying to say. The only person that would really care is already passed on. Okay, or the only ones in that roots, and it's like you got to take a hard look at yourself if you're still boohooing over that stuff. So that may seem insensitive to some of you, but the only reason I mention my grandfather is I have an ideal and I've listened to my grandmother's stories. And, I stared at a tattoo and it makes me feel and everything. And I'm not Jewish, but it's the whole situation, and it's the other, I hate to say, it's the other crybabies that don't even know they're not Jewish. They just want something to whine about. So you're getting a lot of people that are just doing content. You realize how many thousands and thousands and thousands of vloggers said something about that? And it's like, dude, you're just doing content too. Do you really care? Did you really know anything about the history or anybody in your family? Or no, probably not. So it ain't not wrong. So, and it's just not a Germany thing. My grandfather was from Poland, so there was a lot of areas affected by what happened, and it's not the only areas that where it went on. Hey, Paul, still doing it. What? Hi. Hey, look, one of the cats showed up. Come here, Cookie. Cookie rarely shows up. Cookie is Cookie Cat. Hey, what, honey? Uh, uh, there's the appearance by Cookie. Cookie, what? What? What are you doing? Today's not a wet cat food day. I do like once a week they all split a can. Why are you acting weird? Sometimes I think she had one set of kittens before we had her fixed and we rehomed them. And sometimes she goes around looking for the kittens, guys. And so like we'll see her where she'll dig at the blanket and she'll go somewhere else in the kitchen. And sometimes I think she was looking for um, the other cat that we've grown. We grew that cat, and I think she's still looking for the cats until Tweety had grown up. I'm looking around, kind of distracted. Hey, what do you want? Hey, come here. Hey, what's going on? See, they're waking up. See, wake up time. Yeah, this is the blind one. This is Tweety, the one I was starting to say grew up. So when she was littler, she used to. Let me see if I can grab the representation here of the Lakers. Here, come here. Come up here. Just wake Dad up. And today, brought to you by the Lakers. So representing, huh? We say hi. You're not over there dreaming anymore. Are you excited? Are you excited? Tell people to subscribe to the membership. Nobody loves you, man. Nope. Nope. Yeah. I like when her tail goes and the cats attack it. By the way, the cats are taller than her on the floor. She has no legs. She's a Pekingese Shih Tzu. She- yeah. What? Are you wanting up here too? Pet time. You gonna be nice? No? All right. They get along, by the way. You being a good girl? This is Mary, my Christmas present. Aw, what? What? Are you guys acting weird? Looks like it's gonna rain outside. Looks like it's gonna rain. I'm sure the budget cuts on the horizon for US, SSS, and disability pensions will be the first on the agenda. I doubt it. Um, I mean, it's hard saying, but I cannot imagine if they do one, they got to start going through and doing it all. They said they weren't going to do any cuts until the funds were depleted. There's a whole separate amount of money for that. So how can you start cutting people now? It doesn't make any sense. It's not where they said, "Hey, $1 trillion is going out." No, they've already got money set aside. That's a whole different thing. So there's before they it's not happening now. The money is still in there. It's a trust and everything. So they're not taking the money anytime soon, Ruby. So, and if they do, they're going to start cutting. I've offended people many times on this statement, and they need to cut it from the people that didn't pay into Social Security. Get offended as many want, but there are thousands, if not hundreds, if not millions, that are getting it based on birth. And based on birth, they're getting disability for all kinds of things, mental issues. Some of the stuff is fairly simple, but others really need it. But they're going to start with that, and the adults too that get the one they didn't pay into. There are adults that are getting Social Security that didn't pay in either. So it's the SSI. So they need to start there. They're not going to start there. There'll be other things, but it won't be anytime soon. Between the farm and savings, I'm hoping if all goes planned, I'll be fine. 65 built my house, bought my truck, and all will still be working now to save 5 years of income plus God. I'm in my corner. Yeah, it's good that you're getting that plan together now. Sounds like you've been planning really well. I would think so. I think the vets do get the increases. They pay quite well for the vets. So I just wish they would spread that love to the older elderly that have paid in, and the other ones that have supported the country, teachers and other people, that they increase all of the people's money. But I think this is all going to be for the rich. You can make sugar cookies and use some of the food coloring to make them pretty. Yeah, right. Or make some bacon extra red like the hot dogs. Funny thing is when Taylor Swift did those gestures, nobody said anything. Did she? Wow. I didn't know. That's probably because a lot of people didn't know. I had no idea. Interesting. And yeah, if it was Beyonce and Jay-Z or somebody, it could be, or Snoop did it. Yeah. I think it's just because really, really the whole world is watching. They'd be watching at that point on the football games. But hey, Sperlin Edwards, what is going on? My wife makes a Jollibees like spaghetti, hot dogs, rice, and cups of Tang. 25 to school kids, sells at least 200 of them. Yeah, 12 profit, 2,400. Yeah, you've got to do it. If you're going to do it, that's the best way. But like right now here in Angel City and Mabalacat area where we live, there's literally a school around the corner. And there's already a ton of vendors out there. So, I mean, yeah, if you had something different, they'd probably come over if you sold something different, of course. But I don't know it makes sense. But yeah, they come out and they're looking for their stuff. Canada, the 51st state. Australia, the 52nd state. Sounds good. Don't forget about Iceland, Greenland, and Netherlands. Or was it just Greenland? Welcome. If you want to survive, you can. In the Philippines, you just have to hustle. Yeah, that's true. Trump is going to make me a multimillionaire 5 years before my retirement. Ruby, I got eyes on you. Sperlin says rental agencies will rent your house out for you and collect your payments. Oh, okay. While you're here. See, I didn't know. I know they'll take a percentage because I'm like, who would leave their properties behind? Probably won't stop people from destroying them and stuff, but at least they'll manage them and stuff. So yeah, because I often wonder about that because I just couldn't see doing it. Yeah, I'll pass. Come to Mindanao. The evenings are cold. You'll need a blanket. fresh air, search Claveria. It's cold in the mornings where you can breathe. I mean, I would have to go check the areas out. I know there's a lot of people that live in Mindanao for multiple reasons. I just can't see Mindanao. Safety would be one of them. And there is the ones that say they live in there and never have any problem. Um, is that like near Davao City or something? But even then, there could still be some issues. And so I myself could not see Mindanao. It, too many people have said not to go, but I'm I just won't go into what's considered Muslim territory, and I live with two different Muslims, and so it's where I'm at on that. I will go maybe and visit there, but living long term would not work. Visit is not a problem. Week, 2 weeks, but not what is going on. Bobby says he is in Mindanao. Love it here. We split our time in Sigihor and is that Osmez? It's a little dated. But lately new roads slightly going up, new stores finally. Amazon is building their warehouse here in the Key Islands. There will be a player soon. I know they talked about it. Oh, okay, she's in CDO. Yeah, congratulations. Michael. Which Michael? Yeah, I'm not sure which Michael. I'll be honest with you that the guy Michael definitely pushed me to go to the Philippines. Unless you're talking about like MYK. There's several mics here. Did you? Hey, be nice. What is your problem? The cookie, you can barely get a hold of her, the bigger cat, to clip her nails. So sometimes she swings at Tweety, which is about half her size. She's already blind in one eye. She just swung at her. LBC. Yeah. LBC. Door to door service. Just kind of passing through your guys' comments here that when you guys are talking to each other. Yeah, I'm aware of that one. Our Philippine Journey Mike said the estimate is over 400,000 Filipinos may be subject to deportation. Yeah. Yeah, they warned about this what a few months ago. They've even had it in the newspapers and everything. Yes, there'll be a lot of Filipinos affected. Yes, I'm grateful. Believe me, I almost paid 300 to send a swing and clothes. I would. She should have an account through Lazada, or why don't you can buy like gift monies and stuff and just let her do it. There's so much nice stuff on Lazada and all of that. So if that's what most of the stuff is, then she should already have those accounts. That's what I would do. They do have where you can buy like gift amounts and gift card lights from them direct, and she can just order up the stuff. That'd be easy. Save the hundred and something dollars. Lots of nice stuff. I mean, I if I could be sponsored by Lazada, like everything in our house is practically Lazada. Now, some of it not so good, but I mean, if you like, in other words, you get like some stuff that's outright from China that'll just break apart, but you get what you pay for situation. But she should know there's a lot of nice stuff. Biden did the same thing. Heidi signed all kinds of stuff to undo. Now he's refusing it, but Trump did not pardon his whole family. Yeah, right. He's going after them. Also, some kind of crooked judge on his case. Yeah. No, they really did try to roast the guy. Who I can't say for what part, but they did try to slow him down in getting in. Makes you wonder. All right, so are those big boxes? They get stopped by customs? Yes and no. What'll happen is they do like scans on the initial ships before they leave, and yes, they do go through a form of customs. Yes. Now I will let you know, and George said not to talk about this. When boxes come into the Philippines, they open up X amount of boxes and go through this stuff. And I know that some of our boxes were missing items. People will go through and say, "Oh, nothing ever happened to me," and this is not an exaggeration or whatever, but some items we sent 2 and 3 items of, like the Corel dish set, we sent 2 of them, we only got 1 of them. There was a lot of items that we duplicated as far as items that we sent, they were removed. There was only 1 of these items in the boxes, and we just didn't imagine it. We had receipts. And was like, "I'm sure that we did. I'm positive that we did." And George says, "Yes, we did." So we were missing items out of the boxes. I don't know. I can't even tell you why that happened, but it definitely will go through. But I know they do scans and stuff, and items that we've received from Amazon and personal items, same thing. They wanted direct whatever, and they've opened those boxes. One, I believe, was UPS, and we had that issue a few months back, and they went through our stuff and through customs. I would check on that, Bobby G, on the OTCs, the meds. Yeah, we haven't had any problems on this stuff. Yes. We have one now coming from Ted. We're really excited. Yes, you got to make sure you pack them right. Correct. Yep, because they stack them really, yeah, big time. Ha, the Philippines makes me renew my visa every 60 days to port them all. Right? Get them out. Yeah, that kind of does stink. Yep, use bubble wrap. Yeah, we use some of our clothes initially. I mean, this would be a little different, but I think you should just buy her the gift cards direct and just let her have the items sent. She'll receive them in 7 to 10 days. Really smart that way. If it's mostly that, then that's what I would do. And that way, if there are things that you need OTC, she can just order them that way too. So they already have Watsons. They got an entire store of Watsons on Lazada. So she could just buy these things direct and probably cheaper, by the way. Things are way more expensive on most of those items in the United States. I'll tell you that right now. To be honest, it's one thing for the country to vote Biden, but I think it was worse having Kamala. Oh, yeah, that probably, I hate to say it, even as a woman, that'd have been a nightmare. That was just the strangest thing I ever seen, them trying to slip her in there, and she had like no rating, no ranking, no nothing. No, I think the right choice was made, but I think it's to be seen. No, it was definitely the right thing. It was definitely the right thing. I miss my family and food like real Mexican and deli meat sausages, yeah, and good bread. Hi, Laura. Good morning. Yep, he did put it that way. There are only two genders. It's the way that God made it. The first mistake was having a woman pastor, and second is she was a lesbo, and which will tell you everything about the religion today. What's going on, Jimmy? I agree. It would be like a pastor during Bill Clinton's inauguration speaking about marital infidelity. Yeah, be the same thing. And, but I thought it was weird. Also, they booed the Clintons when they came through, and then they booed, um, what's his name? Who's the other guy? Oh my God. Um, Obama. God, I almost forgot. I know what I wanted to say, but Obama came through. I was going to call him healthcare boy. Came through, and they booed him. I thought that was a little. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I wish I could boo and hiss at people as they walk through the mall, but I gotta keep a level of, you know, couth, about myself. But they booed him when they came through, and I'm like, why do you boo the Clintons? I mean, at least Bill or something. Everybody likes a little Bill, little Billy. But no, but yes, I think so. That was really just it was just bad. It doesn't matter even if everything was true, wrong, or please have mercy on little Jose that'll never get to see going to private school, and he'll be sent back to make tortillas in Mexico. And if she would have went, I mean, it just was the wrong time to go on about anything even similar. And so it's like, I don't know. I mean, she was supposed to just do her amen, Jesus, all of this stuff, and she should have just went on and did something. The country needs to be blessed really well by Jesus this year because things are going to get bad and things are going to get good, and all the strength that we need. Amen. And she could have threw in a little like, can you put a little extra help to that guy sitting over there with the yellow hair and the orange skin? I mean, something, but not. Can you just give a little bit more, protection and prayer for that guy sitting over there? Something, I don't know. Lots of the peppers we grow here. WTF, look at Biden's pardon. Yeah, Biden's pardon, and he even gave pardons for, yeah. And they may have or may not have. Yeah, no, that's true. There was all kinds of stuff going on. So, and he's saying Hunter is guilty. Yeah, that was a little strange. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm all up in the political stuff. It's only because of the presidential races and now all this stuff being put up about Biden and just being in social media the last few years. But um, it did seem a little strange, all the stuff he did at the last minute. Oh, snap, 3,000 a month for a rental. Yeah, I need to put this up. To take a look at it. Um, are you serious right now? Did we ask for an appearance? You just seen her tail where she jumped up there. I need to leave that alone. The skin on my face is drying out where the skin cancer was taken away, but I think it's coming back. I don't think they did the full deal. Um, so I will take a look at that. Never heard of her because there's so many of them here. A failure to self-protect. Is she like really? Oh, you said she's young. She could have had. It's really. I mean, we could go into discussing the entire medical thing. I don't think I'm just going to cover her based on her being young because this is a expat retirement. And most of the people we deal with are older here. Not having the insurance and all of that. But I'll take a look to see what's going on because I was going to cover medical anyways on the next up and coming live stream. So it could just be part of the covering of it. Wendy, what's new with Every Man Has a Story? Has she gotten a new expat benefit? Who's Wendy? I have no idea. Uh, who knows? And the expat's wife is now Widow Thornton. She's looks like she's all been taken care of. Just like Elliot Eastman, the stories move on, and unfortunately, that's it. I mean, there's not without a doubt that she'll move on, and I'll eat my shorts if it's a Filipino guy that she goes off with. So it will be another expat, I'm sure. She's in an expat all the guys surrounding her are other expats. And then her friends are all dealing with expat channels where they advise the Filipinas on catching an expat. So there's no doubt in my mind she will. But I don't know who Wendy is. But thanks, sir. Hey, maybe you just don't know my name. Yes, Heidi, there is a time and place, and she did the same thing during BLM riots, making a scene coming on in boys and girls' bathrooms. Not my daughter, sorry. I mean, over the country voted for him. And also, she did the same thing. Yeah, she's fired. Sorry, I did. Even, 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 even if nothing, I would just get rid of her because of that. Because I could. I mean, if we're like doing this full power thing and power trip and all of that, and going off the rails or chain or whatever people are saying, I would. To, I get that she, did what she had to do, but I think it was, you know, it's a historical moment. And I get he did what he had to do to show his power in front of people, but it wasn't her time to shine. I don't know. I don't know if she like planned that the night before with her girlfriend. She was just laying up in bed and said, I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to confront him in front of the world and it's going to change the world. No, she's going to get fired. Did they fire her yet? I can't keep up on things. Here's the thing. Now with the new age, like with YouTube and everything, things change on the hour. It's hard to. It would have took weeks to know if this woman was fired. It could have already happened, and there's already 10 other stories out since then, based on what happened. Does anybody know? Is he planning to get rid of her, or what did he say? Or there it is. He has nothing else to lose. Not at that age. He's lived a really good life. Elon Nation. Yes. Yeah, that's what it seems to be. I mean, this everything coming out and everything was based on him, and now he's probably the one that's going to buy tick. Now, come on, you're not drinking. No, not my coffee. Jump down. Thank you for the visit. So, anyways, there's a Elon's about ready to become a much richer man. Agree about the bishop. I was bold to put it was bold to put him on the spot. She used church service to get involved in politics. She was on CNN and other news channels afterwards. Oh, she was. So she actually went on to let me talk about this. Yeah. Let's see. I've learned a lot from George too over that one. It wasn't about whether it was right or wrong, or it was just the act itself, like George says, we believe I'll speak on my behalf. I believe in free love. People are going to love whoever they're going to love. I think you better stop. If you jump up here one more time, there ain't going to be no free love, no cat love at all. The animals are out of control. Hey, Mary, get off my shoe. See, I'm on here and she's chewing on my shoe. She rarely does that, but anyways, I believe in all that, but there's like a time and a place to actually handle these things, and people should be able to love who they want. Now, I think the gender thing, the bathrooms, the prison thing, and all these guys and all the I think some of that's a little off because there's been a lot of bad outcomes to all of that. But you know, there's so much to say. That rabbit hole goes really deep. Okay, but for her to take the time to it doesn't matter what type of president he is, it was a time for just to hear about God, not about her plea. It was time to hear about God. That's just the time of day it was. That too, he is on the spectrum. I would 100% say Elon is on the spectrum. That was mentioned. He's been called autistic, or he says he's autistic. There is something different about him. I don't know what the type of I'm not believing he's so spectrum. If he was so spectrum to have done that, then he probably wouldn't be able to run a proper business. but I do think that he did it. I think he's got some other issues going on, but I think it was more of a look at me moment and I can do what I want moment. I mean, look at the names he gave his kids. I think he's special. Let's put him in that special category. And I mean, you guys seen him what he twitters or tweets. I say what he tweets out. He twits out, and it's like twit this and twit that, and it's like some of the things he puts out. It's meant to do the shock value, and in this day and age, that's what it takes to get the. But he doesn't really have to. I like George's shock value of just silence. He just waits for me to pop off. That's what George is just. It's just like that is his golden ticket thing. Interesting. The science said Elon did give 200 million to the German party, the Conservative Party, for elections this year. Interesting. Where did you get that information? I mean, just curious. I mean, I can't read everything or know everything, so interesting. Thank you again, California Oscar. All this talk about Canada and Greenland is a 51st, 52nd state. What about Philippines as a 53rd? Why not? Why don't we just add China in for 54? This would give China something to worry about. That's true. There it is, Bobby. Yeah, I'll put that blonde here. I'll mark this down. I downloaded some photos that I found when I went blonde. I've already got some of them in there. But yeah, a couple years back before I met George, so it's about 7 years ago, I was totally blonde. But I'll throw some eye candy in there for you guys. I'll put here eye candy photos. That way you guys can see my fans only days. Yeah, I was just like looking at stuff from like 2017, 2018 and stuff, and I was like, man, what happened to those days? But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Become a member. Philippine Antics. Get some eye candy. I'll put some eye candy up of George. I got him where he's going to the bathroom. I'm gonna sell him all the way up the creek. Uh, Trump will never. Trump will never cut SSDI. He never once said that. Actually, the opposite. He's fighting to extend the dates and stuff. Yeah, I can't see it. And if so, they'll start from the bottom. So, um, there's always been talk and fear mongering on Social Security. I think it's all safe for a while. And then I think they said in a couple years, if it does go down, then they're talking what that is gonna you're only gonna get 70% or something. And so see, it all depends on the news you watch. So you'll know Elon Musk is Asperger's. Okay. And it is very socially awkward. He said, I appreciate you with all my heart and did his awkward thing now condemned. So it's Asperger's disease that he's got? Interesting. There's books. People have been reading all of his books and stuff. I'd be curious. I know that some of the things he does are strange. There's even, of course, these dark articles and the weird articles saying that he's, of course, they say he's alien, and they go through all that stuff that he's not real because of how white his skin is. And as a matter of fact, the weirdest thing that I've seen recently is they were saying, and I'm sure it is fake, but I've seen several news articles on it and videos that people have put out. They're saying that Elvis is still alive. That's why he played that song, and that Elvis is still living at Graceland. So that's where there's extra security over there now. I'm like, that's got to be made up. But hey, they believed it for years. It makes sense. So, but I'm thinking, would he even be alive right now? Yes, but when you're stealing from a country and selling information, then pardon your whole family and spouses who are not even on Trump's radar, that's okay to you guys. Can't believe it, really. Ruby, did all 1,500 desiccate? the U.S. or desecrate the U.S. Capitol any more than the elected officials do on a daily basis. Adam Schiff, yeah, I don't know how bad that was. I remembered when it all happened because they had it in the news. And then I'm like, I know they blame this person and that, and they're saying that he started it. And it was like a thing all over the place. And I was like, did that really just happen? What was it, a storm on Capitol or something? So, see, I don't even, that's something I'm not even sure, but they're saying some did more damage than others. Others are. And Bobby, Taylor Swift, do that condemned gesture all the time, but did anyone say anything? Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure. I have to go look at that one. But no one talks about the billions in damage the Democrats did after Hillary lost. That was absolute horrible, huh? Burning the churches, stations, houses. It's not even into politics, but evil all over. Really? No, I didn't know about that. Trump will make Social Security federal tax free. Now that I had heard that he's going to do where people didn't have to pay taxes. So amen, Paul. So Megan the Stallion twerk, yeah, in the kids' face and tampons in the bathroom. For the real boys, girls use the bathroom also. Yeah. Trump had lowest gas prices in almost history and the cheapest economy in decades, and that was not for the rich. Okay, and it was for us, the working class. I hope one day he recognizes how wrong CNN is. Oh, everyone realizes how. So CNN is against the Republican Party or just against Trump? Because that's just it. I've seen a lot of people that were against Trump that are falling in line, and it's kind of, what do you got? What are you chewing on? Huh? You playing? They just love playing with their toys. All right, guys, I got to scroll through this. I'm 3 hours in. It's lunchtime. It looks dark outside. I'm going to get my falafel things and let you guys know how that went. Go let them know how it goes. I'm not sure what you're talking. I mean, I thought to get Social Security, you had to have 10 qualifying years of income taxes. Was you talking to somebody further up? Okay, I don't, that's just a random statement. So is that directed at me? Me. So the answer is yes. Yes, that is a qualification for the basis of Social Security. However, if you're born into a disability, like from day one, the Americans can apply for disability Social Security for their kids. You can actually do that if the parent has paid in. Based on some of that, is what the kid actually has, so or can get. The same with there are those that qualify for what it's called SSI, and it's what I would call the low income or no income uh, part of the Social Security. So it's not time to hold you, tweet. What? Right? It's playtime, is it? See, playtime. So yeah, no, not all that get Social Security. So I think that's what you meant on that. No Muslims in northern Mindanao, all normal, hard week working crazy folk. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I could see it. I just there's many reasons, and I won't be able to convince George otherwise. Visit, maybe yes, but long term. But I've heard a lot of good though about the area around Davao, and I agree. Biden destroyed the country. He was so unfit, and DNC hid his condition. They did. All right, it's passing through here. We ordered the swing and Lazada. They're cheap last 2 weeks and broke. We got an accident off there. Also broke. Oh wow. Okay. Spending 40,000 on a split type and just wanted to get quality stuff they make here. Okay, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you got to be careful that you will get what you pay for on that. So, all right, guys. I do have to wrap this up. Lazada is here. Again, I just want to say thank you to everybody that became a member. 1 second. Sadly, Mo! Hold on. So sorry, guys. Yeah, so he's actually here. He did come early AM and I missed him. So second time around. But thank you guys for joining us. Okay. And I appreciate everybody being in here, moderators and members and everything. Sorry I couldn't get to it. We are 3 hours and 15 minutes in. And thank you guys so much. Yeah, you seen the Elvis thing. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But thank you guys. Consider subscribing. Appreciate you guys dropping in. Sorry to wrap this up so quick. So thank you guys. I got to get to him. All right. Bye, guys. Love you guys. Look for the videos later. Bye.